morning, good afternoon, and if coming home from working a long 9 to 5, hope you're having a great one as we bring to you another edition of BodySlamNet Talktagon, episode 36, with myself, Rami, and yours truly,
Let's
Max,
go.
the GOAT. What a weekend it was. Madison Square Garden, one of the greatest arenas in the world,
hmm
centered host to UFC 322, where we got two big championship bouts that could have transcended, the divisions, transcended a lot of different things of the
Yeah,
storylines that we've
huge.
been witnessing through this division. And then we had a bunch of other fights to contend to see who's next in line for the Welterweight Championship, who's next in line for the Strawweight Championship, for the Flyweight Championship, for many, many titles up in the
hmm
UFC. Such a fun time, such a great time. Max, my friend, how was your weekend? How was it spent watching the fights, and what else did you do?
Yeah, it was an amazing card, and we had high expectations going in, and for the most part, I feel like it lived up to the hype. It was like maybe slowed down a little at the end, but for how many crazy knockouts we had and crazy performances, I was definitely happy. We saw some crazy upsets, some maybe some underperformances, but all around it was a great weekend, and I always love it when these hyped up cards are actually live up to expectations somewhat. Where we're a little disappointed in the last pay per view. We saw the eye poke incident, so it's good to have one where it's no fouls, just straight up MMA, and actually give us some a card that's actually lives up to the hype. The amount of knockouts was crazy at one point. I thought there might be just knockouts all the way through.
Without a freaking doubt, and it was so good to be able to finally get a much different card, and especially after last month, as you said, we got a disqualification finish.
Yeah.
We really didn't have a lot of to talk about in regards to what's next for that division. It was more so
hmm
we're stalled here.
Yeah.
It's
Restart.
it's a train wreck. We have to find things out. With speaking of that heavyweight title fight, I would love for them to find a way to work that out for December if Tom is able to go.
Yeah, I
Because
know. What's up
we
with the eye? I don't know.
we do have two title fights there, but as much as I love these two title fights, there's one fight I believe should be the main event and one fight that should be the co-main event, and it reverses the fights as we see them. For example, as much as I like Merab Dawalishvili really versus Peter Yan, and as much as Merab Dawalishvili really has elevated himself, with this division and whatnot, I feel like
hmm
seeing this fight and seeing the result that we may see, which is a lot of wrestling for 5 rounds straight and a lot of smothering, I feel
Yeah.
like we'll piss off a lot of fans and piss off a lot of people being like, oh, we tuned in for this big bloody, grueling main event, and then all we got was like 5 rounds of wrestling. I'm not
Yeah.
comparing that to like Islam Makhachev from what we saw this past weekend, but you're getting the final card of the year. We're getting the final ESPN pay-per-view
Yeah.
card of
That's
the
a good
year.
point,
This is
actually.
this is the final one. They have to go all out. They have to
Bro,
go
good
guns
riddance,
blazing.
honestly. I'm happy to leave.
I'm more than happy to leave. It's so annoying. ESPN Unlimited isn't bad nowadays. Like
hmm
how they updated this app and whatnot. But it's the fact that when you get to the pay-per-view, there's so much bugging. Even when you do purchase a
Yeah,
pay-per-view, you don't.
exactly.
There's there's so much bugging going on. Like for example, there's a lot of people who said that they dealt with ESPN Plus messing up for them the pay-per-view wise for the main card opener.
Yeah, and it's
Could
like
you
fucking $90 basically. I'm like, come on, guys.
$90 and I missed out on a 14-second knockout of Benoit Saint Denis and Benil Darush. Like
Yeah,
you can't you can't tell me otherwise how much BS that is.
for real,
Besides,
bro.
it's like
For real.
body slam. But like
Yeah,
what do you call it?
it's like, come on.
Um, but we've seen so, but like I'm saying, like if they can add, in my opinion, Pantoja versus Van is a is a much better main event I feel to add because Joshua Van is a very new opponent. He's a very new ranking. He's up and coming and he's
hmm
dominated the scene. We saw what he did with Brandon Royval. Alejandro Pantoja, the cannibal himself, has
Yep.
not been able to be beaten.
Yeah.
He's ran through everybody. He's made everybody fear his wrestling. And as soon as he takes it to the ground, he's not going to stall there. He's going to go to the side control, land those vicious elbows, and then try to choke you out. So I feel like that's a much more worthy main event. But if you had to do Pantoja and Van, and then Marab Wallace Rowley and Jan, you might as well do Tom Aspinall and Serial Gone. You might as well put all three title fights right there, right then, set
Uh,
it up there.
with the bang.
Because January, people could be like, oh, but why not wait till January for that? In January, we've always had a middleweight or welterweight title fight in those works. Last year and the year before that, we had Sean Strickland, we had Duplessis, we had Izzy Adesanya, like those types of situations. We need to keep that going. Now we need to get Hamza Chimaev opponent. Hamza Chimaev versus, like, I don't know who you could really put him against right now, because it's like, you know, we're working on who's injured and who's not injured and who wants to kill him and who doesn't want to kill him, because there's gonna be people like Sean.
At this rate, have Islam fight him. Fuck it.
Might as well. Islam can move up the weight class. Like like a month, he could just eat up like 10 steaks and then boom, you know, Coca-Cola and hamburger. You know what I mean? Like, go right ahead, brother. Like, I love that video. And I just want to give a shout out to Khabib. What a workhorse he is. And also shout out to his late father, because he promised, he told everybody, Khabib will be champion, he'll dominate, and the next step in line will be Islam.
Yeah, exactly.
And when Khabib retired, everyone was like, oh, Islam's up next. Let's see what happens with him. He killed Dan Hooker, and then he went on to murder and massacre every person in his path. I put this tweet out that I'll mention again later on. I put a tweet out during the fight. I don't really like to tweet a lot during fights, because the second you look down and you look back up, like, something, boom, knockout happens.
Someone's sleeping.
Exactly. But I put that Islam Makhachev is a chameleon. He adapts to any fighter, any style, any type of stuff. Dustin Poirier is a fighter that can go striking, and he can literally lock you into a guillotine and probably put you to sleep. Islam matched that style, and in the last round put him to sleep instead. And other fighters like Alexander Volkanovski, just how good is Alexander Volkanovski to be able to go against Islam the way that he did and keep it toe to toe and keep it very competitive until, like, you know, the first fight, the
rematch,
the first fight legit was like, oh, it was very close. It looked like Alex won. Then the second fight, Islam just adapted way more. He used that time of just, I got messed up so badly, I'm never gonna face that again. Even if I won, I'm gonna go back in there and I'm gonna prove to everybody that I'm the best in the world. And he certainly did. He knocked out Alexander Volkanovski, and then that sent Volk into a downfall for a moment with the Ilia Topuria knockout. But then when he bounced back with Diego Lopez and whatnot, everyone was like, oh, maybe we finally got back Alexander Volkanovski. But then you still had that scary division of just Lerone Murphy looming around, Mosa Evalov looming around, Aljamain Sterling wanting to crack at things, Diego Lopez as well. Like, there's so many.
Running back.
Yair Rodriguez is still a guy there that, you know, who won a big fight, and the UFC was like, you're next in line for the title. And then we saw all these knockouts happen. They're like, well, we don't know.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. But heading back into this New York card, UFC in Madison Square Garden in New York City, November 15th. The event marked the promotion's 12th visit to New York City and first in UFC 309 in November 2024, where that headliner was Stipe Miocic versus John Jones for the heavyweight title. Who knew that would be John Jones' final title defense?
Yeah. Then he'd just never to be seen again.
Never to be seen again. Islam and Zhang Weili both vacated their titles in May to respectively move up to the welterweight and to move down to flyweight to challenge for the respective championship. The bantamweight bout between Malcolm Wellmaker and Suri Sadi was scheduled for this event. However, Sadi withdrew due to a shoulder injury and was replaced by, at first, Cody Haddon. 2 days before the event, Haddon also withdrew and was replaced by promotional newcomer Ethan Ewing. And wow,
it's him.
Opportunity taken and opportunity seized. Like, my goodness.
Yeah, fuck.
At the weigh-ins, Beneil Dariush weighed in at 157.2 pounds, 1.5 pounds over the non-title fight limit for lightweight. The bout proceeded at catchweight, and he was fined 25% of his purse. But, you know, even if he was fined 25% of that purse, Jesus Christ, I think Benoit Saint Denis took more money than he should have.
Yeah,
dude. He got the performance of the night bonus. He got the purse, and then he got his own purse. Like,
those extra pounds didn't help much, I gotta say.
Not one. 14 seconds of extra pounds. But let's get right into it. We had the early prelims start off on UFC Fight Pass, where they're promoting it quite a lot. Of course, they're trying to get everybody to be subscribers on there. Yeah. I don't want to.
They know they're almost done.
Exactly. They know that, Paramount's coming up, and if nobody remembers, Combate Americas, which is owned by the former owner to the UFC, used to be on Paramount. It was promoted heavily. Nothing ever really came to big
Mm-hmm.
fruition because not a lot of people watched Combate America. And then there's also Bellator.
Yep.
During the Spike days, the Paramount days, the Paramount Plus days, and then bought out by PFL. And since then, it's just like Paramount was looking for the next big thing for sports because they got football, they got horse racing, they got a lot of CBS products
Yeah.
where you can watch a whole bunch of things, but they needed something that was big. HBO lost out on boxing, so Paramount decided and Viacom decided we're going to be going after mixed martial arts. I'm going to go for the biggest company in the world, and that's the UFC.
Bro,
And
that deal is
I'm excited.
huge.
And free pay-per-views every month. All you gotta do is just pay your subscription and bam, you get
Yeah.
free pay-per-views
How it should
every
be.
month, all of it. And it's so exciting. We're gonna
Yeah.
get 2 fight nights, a pay-per-view, all like 3 events for like what, $15-20 a month or whatever. I think that's a great price.
Yeah, better than 90. Fucking bullshit. Plus on top of the
$90 a month
subscription.
on top of the subscription and just everything else that they came into.
Bro,
Like
that was
it's
straight
funny how
extorting us. For real, bro. Like fucking
well,
Dana with these fighters. For real, bro. Fucking taking all our money.
he extorted me for millions, billions. So at this point, rot in hell, Dana. But no, but like it's just a crazy world that we live in and whatnot, where it's not gonna let me go
Yeah, it
by.
was like what, $8 billion deal? That shit's crazy. Some
Yeah,
shit.
$8 billion deal. And we got all these free pay-per-views, so it's gonna be very, very exciting. Heading into our first fight, of course we went against each other. I actually thought I made a mistake. Okay, so when this fight was happening, and so it was Vashilayev, Borshev against Mateus Camillo. I At first when I was watching this fight, when I saw the first round like end up, I was like, man, Borshev is not doing well. That's not gonna go well with my picks. And I
Yeah.
looked at my phone and I saw I picked Camillo, and I was like,
I know, yeah. I thought you did too,
like
but then I was like, fuck, dude, he didn't. Fuck.
I was like, oh my God. So I was like, God bless America.
For real,
But
bro. That ended up being good.
what a weird fight it was because they mentioned that Bodyslam had knee pad, his knees wrapped with these knee pads and whatnot. But the big story coming out of the first and second round from the UFC commentary, minus trying to commentate the fight, was is he injured? Is he injured? Like a whole time they were asking if he was injured, and really, it begs the question: was he injured? Because he kept getting
Yeah.
taken down so easily. He got taken down easily more than anything. If he would have kept things standing and kept going for those body strikes like he was going for in between the second and third round, there could have been a lot of good things going his way. But Mateus Camillo picks it up with takedowns. He got the back. He got some strikes in there. It was a weird fight to where at the end of the fight you really didn't know who was gonna win, and it
Yeah.
might as well you wouldn't even be upset if it was a draw because both guys were like equal in how bad their striking was,
Yeah.
and equal in how bad their wrestling was as well. Because like you ask yourself, what the fuck is going on?
Mhm. Yeah, I thought it was
But
closer than some of the judges, put, but I definitely
yeah,
think I'm not mad whatsoever. I'm like, definitely, I think the
like
right guy won.
a lot of people probably thought like Camille won those 3 rounds, but really, if you look at it in like an honest way, you're like, neither guy won. Not like
Yeah.
it came up to a I'm putting 50-50, but I put in 51 for this round, and that's it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
51-49 and whatnot. But it
Totally,
wasn't
totally.
really, it wasn't a game changer, and it wasn't something huge. Neither guy landed a big knockdown or landed something that was like massive for the fight. It was just Mateus just trying to survive to the end, and Borshev dealing with this weird injury, it looked like. But
Yeah.
what were your thoughts on this opener?
Yeah, it was nothing too crazy, like you said. Both guys didn't really impress me too much, honestly. Where Camilo was kind of starting to gas out a little bit, but then Borshev was not able to capitalize whatsoever. So neither guy really looked too good, but credit to Camilo getting the win. Got his first UFC win. He's only 24 years old, so lots of time to learn and improve. So hopefully he can work on that cardio a little bit because he was definitely gassing out towards the end. And even in round 2, at the end of round 2, he was looking pretty gassed. But Bochaev never was able to capitalize off that fatigue and, ended up falling behind on the judges' scorecard and never was able to catch up. So, it's a tough run for Makhachev. I think, that's 3 losses in a row. And he's only won 1 in his last 5. So definitely not looking too good for him right now. And he, has been around for a little bit, but it's looking like might be on the downward for him. Now he's 8-7-1 for his whole career. So he's barely above 500. So I don't know. It might be time to be cut for him, unfortunately.
It might be time. And Camilo just barely survived. He barely kept his job in a way. And it's just it's a crazy world we live in where we have to deal with. And it's funny too because they're both lightweights, but it looked like they were both middleweights.
Yeah.
I got confused by that weight class. I'm like, brother, you guys look bigger than you are. Like,
yeah. Maybe the weight cut is affecting him.
Maybe the weight cut is really affecting Bodyslam. Watch, we're gonna see him go to like Russia or some other freaking fighting regional center at light heavyweight, and all of a sudden he's and we're like, what happened to
Bulk
you?
the fuck up.
He just starts shrugging.
Yeah, I mean he's pretty big for the 155, and
he is.
Clearly doesn't seem to be working lately.
Way too big, actually. I was like, brother, what's going on here? But Mateus Camilo picks up the win there just to keep himself alive. Really, that's really all it was. It wasn't the fight that you want to start New York off with, but the rest of the card definitely did pick up a lot of good
heats up in this next one.
Yeah, Basargur Sosirkayev, who we witnessed win the Dana White Contender Series a couple months ago.
Yeah.
In the same week was UFC in Chicago. I forgot what pay-per-view name that was. But it was Hamza Chimaev against Duplessis, and we were gonna witness history. And so was Basargur Sosirkayev because he told the UFC we need to get me on this card. They got him on the card against Eric Nolan. And he got a submission in the 3rd round. And it's funny, they put him against Eric McConaughey. I'm like, my God, like, what's with him and Eric's? But they mentioned McConaughey and his story, and it was very beautiful, but it was also kind of funny too because they mentioned like, he used to be a running back in Georgia. He fell out of it. His friend invited him to a jiu-jitsu class. As much as he liked it, it fizzled out for him. He went down like a depressive route. I'm not saying that part's funny. But then when he met his now wife, they had 5 kids. And so he decided, I'm going back to MMA. I'm like, brother, of course you're going back to MMA. You need that money. Like, my goodness, 5 freaking kids.
For real.
Do you eat? Is that why you're weight cutting? Because like you can't eat at your house? But like it was just wild. And then of course, Sosirkayev said in his pre-fight interview, I will never ever do what I did before and fight twice in 1 week. He said it took so much out of him, and boy, did it ever. But this fight was so interesting because Eric McConaughey had a shot at winning in every round until he got caught with a clean strike. Yeah. He came out here looking like Khalil Roundtree with the knees and elbows and the striking. I'm just like, my goodness, like, are these guys twins? Like, and it was funny because in his corner was Jared Cannonier, I believe. So you got Jared Cannonier in McConaughey's corner. He's trying to land these Muay Thai knees and elbows, trying to take out Sosirkayev. And Sosirkayev decided after 2 rounds, like his coaches said, don't wrestle. Just go out there and strike. Just go out there and strike and do what you got to do. And those 2 rounds were very, very good advice. Those 2 rounds were very iffy because they were so much in a clinch that every time they struck with each other, it was sloppy fighting and then going back into the clinch and trying to get the wrestling going. McConaughey was working really well, but it was that 3rd round that sent him like a Patrick Star, like a starfish, and he was flaring his arms out after he got caught with that beautiful right hook, and then he just collapsed.
Yeah.
And props to Sosirkayev for not going in for any extra blows. He saw his opponent was down and out like tantric, and he said, I'm not going to do anything else. I'm good. And he gets himself the big win here. Shocker, he did not pick up a bonus. Like, what? Come on, dude. He got a bonus. He had a bonus that fight. All of a sudden, like, yeah, that's too many bonuses in your career. Are you Charles Oliveira? No, I don't care about you. Like, brother, like, but
I'm like, that should be a fucking bonus. Come on, bro. Bro literally walked off, KO'd him. What more do you have to fucking do?
Exactly. After the opener was a decision fest, and we're like, okay, what's gonna happen next? And we get a knockout. They're like, yeah, but we're gonna wait until Bo Nickel to get
out. Like, we're gonna save it for these other guys. I'm like, come on, bro. Give a bonus for a bonus performance. I'm like, that seemed like a bonus winning performance, but I'm like, fuck it. Some cards have more bonuses. You know what I'm saying? It's like some cards are shit, some cards are actually good. So, maybe give the good cards more bonuses. I don't know. It seems like a crazy concept.
in my opinion, how the hell did we not get a fight of the night?
Yeah.
Like in my personal opinion, we got a freaking fight of the night between it was either um I'd say Ethan Ewing and Malcolm Wellmaker, or Gregory Rodriguez and Roman Kopylov. Those
Yeah, I
two
agree.
are the ones that gave us fight of the nights, and they didn't even get that bonus for it. Like Dana White was like,
For real.
"Man, New York City, huh? New York City, so rich, so enthrined. Oh my goodness, we have this big partnership with WWE and TKO. John Cena's retirement's coming up. Everyone's here in New
For
York
real.
for this
We just
fight
got
and
8 billion
that.
from Paramount.
Fuck it, we ain't doing shit. Like
No
what the
bonus.
hell?" But Boston Good Sosakayev picks up that big starfish knockout over Eric
Yeah.
McConnell. There's just no way to other put it. That was just clean as a whistle. What were your thoughts on Sosakayev
Yeah.
picking up another win after debuting a couple months ago?
Obviously, what a knockout. Absolutely insane. Like, the way he went down was just crazy. But honestly, it was closer than I imagined until that moment. So credit to McConaughey for making it a tougher fight than I expected going in. I thought that Susakayev would, have his way with him, have a dominant performance. But McConaughey put up a good fight, but unfortunately couldn't last the entire 3 rounds. But, I'm not too mad at him for he put up a valiant fight against a big favorite. But yeah, Susakayev is definitely one to watch, man. Undefeated, knocking dudes out like this, submitting guys. So this dude's a finishing machine. I definitely think that, maybe he doesn't need to go too crazy of a step up because McConaughey actually did pretty solid until that moment. But, move him up a little bit again. Don't need to rush him too much. He's a young guy as well. So, lots of time to go. 24 years old and all the potential in the world. So I think that this guy is definitely going to be one of those dudes in that division that is going to be ranked in no time. And next thing you know, he'll probably be fighting in the top 10, top 5. And then we'll really see where he gets tested because he's looking like he might just keep steamrolling through these guys as long as he keeps improving fight after fight and keeps getting better because right now he's looking amazing. And this is only his, second UFC fight, third one counting the Contender Series. And he's just looking like so dangerous. And the fact that, he was able to face some adversity early on in the fight where McConaughey wasn't making it easy, but he kept going for the finish and was able to ultimately get it in that fashion was just amazing to see. So, yeah, he should have got that bonus. These damn motherfuckers are greedy, but I'm sure he'll get more in the future for sure.
I already saw what next fight he should take on. After looking at the rankings, I would have loved for him to fight Joe Pyfer, but Joe Pyfer has Absupsi and Magomedov coming up, or he did have Absupsi and Magomedov coming up, or whatever. What do you call it? Marvin Vettori, he might be on like a little bit of a skid right now. That could be a fun fight to happen.
That's a good point.
There's a one fight that I think should happen. Sosakayev should fight Jared Cannonier, who was in McConnell's corner. He's the number 10 ranked right now, tied up with MVP. But you have that fight happen, and boom, it's a perfect opener for Sosakayev.
Yeah, that'd be a big step up for real. But with how he's looking.
Exactly. Fighting a guy, especially who can go the 3 rounds, who can go to 5 rounds like Jared Cannonier, Sosakayev gets that big step up, gets himself like a co-main or even main event slot. Honestly, because you could put him in a main event fight night right now, and he'll definitely put his all into it. But the thing that needs to be worked on the most is I love how much he's dedicating himself to. If it's the final round, I'm gonna go for the finish. You don't want to be in those 5-round fights where for 3 rounds you're trying to find a way to wrestle, find a way to take your opponent down. 4th round comes, you're feeling a big ass, and the 5th round comes, and you're just trying to survive. So I feel like for a fighter who always ends fights in the 1st round, he needs to start finding ways to, technicalize that, find a way to strategize that to be able to get these 1st round finishes once again, because he's a very young and strong competitor.
Yeah.
It's just about how he handles these game plans. But other than that, Sosakayev is just impressing everybody so much, impressing us so freaking much. So I'm very, very excited to see what happens next, and I cannot wait to see him fight. Well, who he fights next? Could be January. Maybe Hamza Chimaev fights on that card, and he gets himself on that card too. I'd like for him to be in the co-main event slot against Jared Cannonier, or even opening up a pay-per-view against Cannonier himself. I think that would be really fun.
Yeah, that would be a banger.
Our next fight was women's strawweight action. Fatima Klein against the always veteran legend Angela Hill. And my goodness,
Yep.
there was only one way to describe this: one-sided beating, one-sided
Yeah.
domination. Just a beautiful performance from Fatima Klein, who
Yeah.
just
No
came
kidding.
into this one
Sheesh.
so freaking hungry and so determined to just get her freaking a big win here. And
Mm.
of course, as we see on the fight picks here, of course the Porsche fight did not go well, but Susurkayev helped you out,
Yep.
and of course
Yeah.
Klein
Got
did
my
as
first
well.
win on that one.
Klein was just
Glad we
a
got
freaking
Klein. Sheesh.
crazy monster she was. Every time that Angela Hill tried to get in her way, she would land those beautiful knees and just keep jabbing off her head. Even with
Yeah.
the wrestling was very crisp, and it was like, wow, this division's getting so good and getting
Hmm.
faster and faster. But my favorite part was at the end of the fight when Angela tries to get up and she gets hit with that hook, and she
Yeah.
tries to get up again and she got hit with that head kick. I'm very freaking shocked she just said, I'm good. Like she's never been
Yeah.
finished.
For
She's
real, bro.
never been
She's so
finished before,
tough.
and it's crazy work. Like my goodness, her toughness is on a different level. You might as well freaking like just say put her as a
Yeah.
champion, and if you can't knock her out, then you don't win. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Until
For real,
someone can
bro.
knock her out, she's the baddest motherfucker. But what were your thoughts on Klein getting this big win here?
Yeah, hugely impressive performance, man. Especially against a veteran like Angela Hill, who's been around for so long, fought the best of the best, always making him competitive most of the time. But in this case, not so competitive. Klein was just dominating every aspect of the fight, the stand up, the ground, everything, the pacing, and it was just her fighting there. And I was just massively impressed with Hill's ability to not get knocked out with how much punches she was eating. But ultimately, yeah, it was all Klein all the time in there. And another young fighter, 25 years old. So another young fighter. This card's been full of them. Lots of high potential athletes coming in here and actually living up to expectations and putting on a show that is going to get them to that next level that they want to go to. And she's just looking like one of the best prospects in that division right now for sure. And right now, we're not exactly sure what's going to happen next in that division. Is Zhang going to come back down, or is she going to stay up? I'd assume she's coming back down, but once that gets sorted out with who Mackenzie Dern's going to fight next, I think that Klein, if she can keep winning, she'll definitely be up there in no time because that was just absolutely insane how she was just able to completely dominate Hill from start to finish, not really giving Hill much moments at all in the fight. And thankfully, we both predicted Klein because, sheesh, that was just dominant fight. And, making us look good with the picks a little bit. So we'll take it there always. And then looking good while doing it. Absolutely dominating performance. Hate to see Hill get dominated like that because, she's a fan favorite. But sometimes these young, hungry fighters are just, there to do just that, take your spot and make you look bad in the process. And, their career comes first. And she's definitely looking like she's going to have a long career for sure.
A long career and a very, very fruitful opportunity to continue on in this women's strawweight division because after we saw the events of this past weekend with the championship bout in the flyweight division, of
Mm-hmm.
course, Zhang's got to think about what she wants to do next.
Yep.
And now it's about how this division's moving forward. Like Mackenzie Dern has so much on her plate. Like
Yeah.
they legit said, winning the championship is going to be hard, but defending it is going to be even harder. And
Mm-hmm.
there's so much on her plate. And it's going to be very fun to see what happens, in the future. Our next fight was featherweight action, Pat Sabatini against Shepe Mariscal, and wow, did we pick? It was such a weird fight too. It was such a 50-50 fight. If you picked Shepe, okay, cool. If you picked Pat,
Yeah.
okay, cool. Like you really didn't know how to handle how this was going to go
Mm-hmm.
out. And my favorite part was just how chaotic everything got. Like at one point I thought like, maybe Chepe would have something good happening for him, but Pat Sabatini's wrestling was just so freaking crisp. But
Yeah.
like that everything about his work that on Saturday night was so much fun. And plus this is a fighter that's on a 3-fight winning streak. His last 3 fights, he's just dominated the wrestling. His last time he lost was at UFC 295 in 2023, November 11th in MSG, by the way, when he got knocked out by Diego Lopez. He
Yeah.
got knocked out by Diego Lopez. Prior to that, he was knocked out by Damon Jackson. But since then, he's been wanted the opportunity to come back to New York and put on a performance. And boy, did he ever! Chepe Maniscal could not have anything for him, and he was just getting ragged all around there, like Pat Sabatini wanted him to. What were your thoughts on Sabatini picking up this win here in the featherweight division?
Yeah, really good performance against an undefeated fighter in the UFC. Where Chepe's been rocking everyone in the UFC, was 5-0 up until this point. So Pat gets revenge from a regional scene loss to Chepe. They fought back in 2018, and now they're running it back all these years later. Really different fighters now, but Pat showed that he had improved more and, was able to control most of the fight. Almost 11 minutes of control time in a 15-minute fight. That's going to be tough to win a fight for Chepe if you're being controlled for that long. It wasn't the craziest in terms of damage for a fight, but still, at least they made it somewhat entertaining with some of the scrambles. So I wasn't too mad, but yeah, really solid performance from Sabatini. He definitely is looking good now. Ever since that knockout loss to Diego Lopez, like you were saying, he's on that 3 fights winning streak. So definitely looking good right now. He's definitely not the youngest guy, so 35 years old. So he's got to keep the streak going and try to get as high as he can before he ages out of the sport. But beating someone like Chepe in dominant fashion like that is definitely gonna do you a lot of good in the rankings. Getting closer to the rankings. And he's going to be a tough matchup for anyone out there, as long as they're either going to knock him out or he'll probably control you for most of the fight, because that wrestling was looking on point. He was just so determined to control the fight the entire time. Chepe was just a little bit overwhelmed with how hard it was for him to get him off. So all credit to Sabatini for making Chepe look pretty bad in there with how dominant Sabatini's wrestling was. I think he maybe could have even gone for a finish with how dominant he was, but no point is if you're making it look that easy, you may as well just make it an easy day in the office, especially against someone dangerous like Chepe. So I don't blame him there.
Don't blame him at all. And I was shocked because I picked Madison and I thought, oh, this is gonna be really good. This is gonna be this is a very easy win for me. And I asked my buddy, I was like, brother, you bet on this fight? He was like, no, I didn't. I'm like, all right, don't worry. I was like, you know what? It's okay. Who cares about free money? I'm glad you didn't bet on this fucking fight because my goodness, it was like, yeah, that's your freaking parlay, and you might as well got fucking screwed. But wow, just Pat Sabatini. I cannot wait to see what he does next because he's improved so much. He lost Diego Lopez, and he said, I'm not gonna go back there again. And I cannot wait to see what happens next for him, especially in his featherweight division. But heading into our next fight, sorry about that. And our next fight, it was Kyle Dawkins, who I mentioned to my buddy. I'm like, he looks like this wrestler named Joe Hendry. Go to your phone right now and look up a picture of Joe Hendry.
Joe Hendry.
Yeah, Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry.
Rami was seeing lots of comparisons to the fighters. He was seeing lots of different, people, celebrities, He was seeing lots of them. He was letting me know. Wait, what is it? Joe Hendry?
Yeah, Joe Hendry, yeah. I wasn't seeing a lot of celebrities. I saw like that guy. That's pretty much
okay, I see it with the hair. Yeah.
With the hair, the freaking blonde hair.
Yeah.
Like, brother, saying his name, man.
That shit is funny.
He appears, I believe, in Joe Hendry or Kyle Dawkins. GM3 has been fighting for so long. You might as well. You would probably think that he was in the Game of Thrones era. You know what I mean? Like,
he looks like one, low key, bro, with the beard and shit.
The guy has taken on so many fights since I've started watching MMA that I feel like I've seen more GM3 fights and Paul Craig fights than anybody else really. Like, if you need a guy that's gonna give you scary jiu-jitsu but not have a great chin, Gerald Mearshart and Paul Craig are those guys, and it's not even a disrespectful thing to say, but
no, I mean they're in there against so much good fighters, dude. They're throwing them to the wolves.
Look at Gerald Mearshart since 2024, lost to René the Ritter, lost to Brad Tavares, lost to Michael Olachek, lost to Kyle Dawkins. Like, my God, that's fucking 4 in a row now, brother.
Almost all of them finishes too.
His last 2 wins were over Edmund Sabazian and Brian Barberena. Sorry. What happened to Brian Barberena?
Yeah, that's a good question, bro. Good fucking question. Is he still?
Yeah, is an American mixed martial artist formerly fighting in the middleweight division in the UFC.
Maybe he retired.
Released. He was released from the UFC on March 21st, 2024, and has not fought since then. He lost 4 fights in a row: Rafael dos Anjos, Gunnar Nelson, Mahmoud Moraev, and Gerald Meerschaert.
I wonder if we're going to see the same from Meerschaert because it's not looking good lately for him. But,
Yeah.
he's kind of had those streaks before, and then he'll get a crazy upset win. So you never know with him.
You never know. But Kyle Dawkins is so great. And what's even crazier is to be able to get his opponents back in 50 seconds flat and just choke him out like that. Crazy work. That Bravo choke is just always so freaking intense to look. Bravo choke is just so always intense to look at. But what's also intense is how Dana White hates his fires, because you get a 50-second knockout, 50-second submission, and they're like, yeah,
not
Bo
good
Nickal's fighting soon. Bo Nickel is fighting soon, guys. Like, come on, Bo Nickel, guys. Like, the only performances of the night went to Bo Nickel, Benoit Saint-Denis, Carlos Prates, Michael Morales.
Which is valid, but I'm like, everyone else should also be getting a bonus too, because I'm like, oh, 50 seconds, you don't get a bonus after a 50-second finish? Come on. Like,
here's the thing too about these these fights and these like results is that usually we'll have performance of the night knockout, performance of the night submission. Where's the submissions? Like, we're getting knockouts, yeah, but submissions. Aaron Blanchfield later on in the night we'll talk later on the night.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Overcame a lot and got that big choke. No bonus. Kyle Dawkins in 50 seconds chokes out Gerald Meerschaert. No bonus. Nothing whatsoever.
Not bonus worthy. Sorry, bro. Bullshit.
But what are your thoughts on Kyle Dawkins putting out Gerald Meerschaert to keep himself up?
Yeah, I definitely expected him to win, but I don't know if I expected that because that was just so quick. No, I don't even think Meerschaert was able to land anything or do anything really before he was getting dropped and then finished. So nothing much more we could say other than way to go, Kyle Dawkins. That is how you handle business in the octagon. In and out quickly, get paid, should have got a bonus, but at least you can fight again very soon. Took no damage whatsoever. So, Kyle Dawkins is one of those dudes who was, coming in the UFC originally, kind of had a mixed bag, but he came back into the UFC in 2025 after he was cut in 2022. And then ever since, he's 2-0 now with 2 finishes, both under 50 seconds. The first one back, he had a round 1 knockout over Michel Pereira in 43 seconds. Yo, what's good? And
do we know that?
And it's like
I don't know why I said that. I was like, do we know them?
And this dude is gonna just depending on the matchups, I'm like, Meerschaert is a big downgrade in my opinion from Pereira. So I'm like, the fact that he was able to destroy Pereira like that, easy work in 43 seconds, and now he's doing this in 50. It's like, bro, give this guy another step up because right now he's looking like he's just going to keep finishing these lower level guys because he kind of got a step down with Meerschaert, but can only fight who's in front of you. So great performance from Dawkins, man.
Great performance from Dawkins. I almost kicked my tripod down. I was like, I'm getting too hot in here because it feels like the weather might be getting warm outside. So I'm like,
the Tony Soprano jacket's off.
I got to take off my freaking Tony Soprano robe. Hey, where's the freaking gabagool? But other than that, we are seeing a lot of improvement. We saw a lot of improvements from Kyle Dawkins, Joe Hendry himself, and so I'm I'm very excited to see how quick he can turn things around because a 50-second knockout, man. Come on, man. Get him on next month's card. Get him.
Yeah, fuck it, bro.
But let him fight a doctor right this weekend or whatever the fuck, because these guys are just so prepared for anything. He keeps his weight down and whatnot. It's not like Armin Tsarukyan where he eats all these extravagant meals and all these different meats and chocolates and sweets. Like Armin Tsarukyan is a hungry man.
For real.
I remember one time I saw Armin Tsarukyan after one of his fights. He had a whole box of In-N-Out burgers, a doubles, 6 doubles, and 3 animal style fries. I'm like, brother,
sheesh, making me hungry.
I could barely eat 2 of those, and I'll be like, okay, I'm dead. But eating 6 of those, my God, that's a big man.
For real though, I'm like, give me the 3x3, and that's about it.
My pastas had that recently, and they were like, I'm fucking dead. I'm like, I bet you are, man. Those shits are freaking crazy.
For real, bro. Shout out to In-N-Out.
I've never done it. I've never done a 3x3. Maybe I'll do it like for my birthday next year when I like give myself a heart attack. But like other than that, it's crazy.
after a workout, you've earned it.
Exactly. But our next fight, I'm so glad we lost this fight because we had such
Yes,
a great,
bro.
great fight to watch.
I was not even mad, exactly, bro. This shit was fucking crazy.
It was so good. So up and come new promotional newcomer, Ethan Ewing stepping in on short notice. He just won the title last Saturday night, and legit said, "I'm ready. I'll fight."
48 hours, fuck it.
Malcolm Willmaker, I'll take him on. It doesn't matter. And Malcolm is such a amazing fighter. Like he's so young. He's such an amazing fighter, and like his style was completely compromised. Ethan Ewing has been studying this man nonstop. I don't think Ethan got any freaking sleep whatsoever. He's been studying Malcolm Wellmaker ever since the fight got announced. He's just been making sure. And every time that Wellmaker tried to use the head movement, Ethan would just step in and use that jab. Like he wouldn't let him get a single break in that. The head kick that busted open his eyebrow. Just everything that he was doing in the fight. Ewing. The last time that somebody saw a Ewing do this was Patrick Ewing back in the 90s.
Wow. We should have seen this coming.
Knicks. Like
in Madison Square Garden, come on, fuck.
When I saw his name, when I saw his name, I was like, huh, is he? And then I saw a white guy come out. I'm like, oh, okay.
You're like maybe a distant relative.
Well, distant relative would be crazy enough to say because once I saw Ethan Ewing, and I mean this respect, no. I don't mean it. No, not respect. Once I saw the way that he looked, I immediately texted Sav Jelly, and you as well. I immediately messaged you guys and said, "Why does Ethan Ewing look like Charlie Kirk?" Like, it legit. Like you cannot take it away
I
now.
Could see it, bro.
Side by side, they look the same. It's like faked his death, became a UFC fighter. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Grew out the beard, thought no one would notice. Oh my!
Oh my god! I was crying so hard. Every time I saw him, I was like, "My god, why is Charlie Cook doing this?" Oh my god!
Bro, what a performance, though. He's him.
Wonderful performance. Ethan Ewing is him. Yes.
Bro, what the fuck?
What a great night. For him. Like you step in. Inside the New York lights, the big spotlight's right on you. You got to capitalize on this moment.
Bro, it's a huge favorite. Like Wellmaker's been knocking dudes out cold, like ever since he's been in the UFC for the last few fights. And wow, Ewing was like, I'm not gonna go with that. I'm gonna do my own thing. I'm not scared of the power. I'm just gonna fight my own fight. And it clearly was effective because Wellmaker was just not able to get his rhythm going. He was getting pieced up. That head movement was not very effective. I'm like, move your feet, bro. You're moving right into the punches. But for real, bro, I'm like, Ewing was just on point. So I'm like, some people are calling it a fraud check. I don't know what you think about that. But I'm like, I think Ewing might just be that good because I'm like, it's not like he
always get those fighters that come in. We always get those fighters that come in and are like, oh my God, they're so good. They're so great. And we're like, but he went against somebody who's this up and coming, big shot that got put down. Like, for example, let's see it as like whenever, up and comer, great as hell, just an absolute, dog at the time, Conor McGregor, at the time was an absolute dog, just won the featherweight championship, moves up to lightweight to fight Rafael dos Anjos, and they're like, oh, he just stepped out. You want to fight Nate Diaz? And he's like, I'll kill Nate Diaz. Like, nothing. Choked out. Hype train derailed. Recently, we saw another hype, like with, Bo Nickel, he got destroyed by Renner the Ritter, who was this new up-and-comer. People were like, oh, like, we don't know how Bo's a much better wrestler, and then bam, knees to the ribs and put him down. And then Renner the Ritter recently has felt some, weird type of effects of, like, fighting, but, like, other than that, he'll overcome it. But we've seen so many of these, like, fan favorites. And people were like, oh, yeah, this guy, he'll be world champion. Like, for example, Junior Dos Santos. He was this big up-and-comer, finally world heavyweight champion. He beats the up-and-comer Cain Velasquez. And then the next two fights, Cain Velasquez kills him. I'm not saying if we put these two in a rematch between Wellmaker and Ewing, we'll get a different, result.
Maybe they'll meet down the line in the rankings once they're ranked. Because I think they're both good.
Once they are ranked, I'm praying to God that they are both in the top 5, and we can get a main event between these two or a title fight because it's already a beautiful rivalry.
Yeah,
You got beat on the biggest stage in New York, Malcolm,
on
and
short
now
notice.
on a
Embarrassing.
short notice fight. Exactly. You were prepared for weeks on end, 8 weeks of training for any person you could fight. And this guy stepped in on like 48 hours notice and said, I'm gonna kill you, dog.
For
And that's
real.
what he did. So
Dominated.
props to Ethan Ewing. He made us all a very, very big fan, and he definitely deserved the fight of the night bonus more than anything.
Yeah, for real,
Um
bro. No fucking bonus for that shit. It's just, I'm like, what is this? Bro comes in on
they
48 hours
hate us.
notice, doesn't even give him a bonus for dominating the guy that's probably the biggest favorite on the card, bro. Maybe not, again, maybe Islam was a bigger favorite, but one of the biggest favorites, you know? So, yeah, Ewing's definitely one to watch. 27 years old, has been undefeated ever since he lost his first 2 pro fights, was 0-2 to start his career, and ever since has been undefeated. So, dude, this dude is clearly actually a good fighter, UFC worthy by far, and, you know, is definitely one to watch. I'm interested to see, you know, the Professor Finesser. What a nickname as well, bro. Got to point that out. He definitely finessed Malcolm Wellmaker in there for sure, bro. Took all that hype and took it for himself. So this dude's definitely a new fan favorite 100% after that performance. You know, Wellmaker, I think, could bounce back. Definitely a
Yeah,
lot to learn from this performance where he was kind of not able to find his shots and he was kind of going for the one-punch knockout instead of getting some combos. But, man, definitely a learning experience. They're both still young, so it's going to be interesting to see where they both go from here. Ewing has all the momentum. We'll see if Wellmaker can bounce back.
without a doubt. Our next fight was Aaron Blanchfield, who's on a very, very tough freaking streak as of late. Against Tracy Cortez, who finally overcame injuries, came back to the UFC, and is just trying to get back into that win column. Last time we saw Tracy Cortez fight, of course, she defeated Vivian Araújo. Prior to that, she lost to Rose Namajunas,
Yep.
but she did defeat Jasmine Jasudavicius in 2023, which was a big shocker to everybody. Like, wow, Jasmine lost. Melissa Gatto,
Yeah.
Justine Kish, Stephanie Egger, Vanessa Mello, all these names, even like back in the day of when she was 5-1 in 2019, she defeated Erin Blanchfield by split decision. This time around, Erin Blanchfield was not going to let it go to decision. She was not
Mm-hmm.
going to let that happen. But Tracy Cortez, she came out crisp striking, fast speed, and I love what they mentioned about her. You don't have power, but you have a lot of speed and technicality from her.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many
Boxing was
ways
on
that
point.
her boxing is always on point. And I know that she was recently training with a lot of the people like Henry Cejudo's team and whatnot. Good friend of mine, Dylan Rush. I've seen, of course, his footage and everything from the archives of, Tracy Cortez getting prepared to step into against Aaron Blanchard. A lot of people tried to diss on Cortez earlier this week or last week because she was like, oh, I didn't know that Islam was fighting in the main event. And really, a lot of people were like, oh, how don't you know you're on a pay-per-view card or whatever? You're only focused on your fight.
Yep.
Like I don't.
Yeah. They don't have
If you
time for
ask
that shit.
if you ask Ethan Ewing, oh, who do you think's gonna win, Islam or JDM? He's like, me. I'm trying to beat Malcolm Wellmaker, dude.
Yeah.
Malcolm Wellmaker is the same. Gregory Rodriguez, Roman Kopylov, all these people are so focused on the fight until after the fight, then they're like, oh, that's happening tonight. Wow, that's cool.
For
But
real, yeah. Then they just don't have the time, and most of the time, where it's like they'll pay attention to the training partners and their own fights, but that's about it. A lot of the time for these fighters, because they got to be training all the time. No time to be fucking catching up on every card.
exactly, and so with Erin Blanchfield, she steps into the UFC. She wins against Sarah Alpar in her debut in 2021. Move forward to December of that year, Miranda Maverick. Later that year, June 4th, 2022, JJ Aldrich, she chokes out. She snaps the arm of Molly McCann in November here
Yeah,
in
that
New
was
York City,
crazy.
by the way. She fights Jessica Andrade. She chokes her out in that main event. She fights Talia Santos on the final fight for the Korean Zombie in Kalong, Singapore. She wins that decision fight, one-sided beating. She fights Manon Farrow in a main event in Atlantic City. She loses a very, very tough fight because Manon Farrow is just so crazy. Like
Yep.
the fact that Manon Farrow is only lost to Valentina Shevchenko just proves how crazy dangerous she is. Like this division is hard, but then you have
Yeah.
Manon Farrow going up against Jasmine Jasudavicius and putting her down. Like I'm just saying, like Valentina, I know how great Valentina is, but she's gonna have to pull out the performances she always does, like going 120% in a fight if
Mhm.
she wants to fight Manon Farrow and everybody else in that division. But then Rose Namajunas gets pieced up in a unanimous decision fight in Edmonton, Alberta. This past sorry last November. It took her over a year to come back. Erin Blanchfield came back, fight Tracy Cortez. First round, Cortez was doing her work, but then Erin Blanchfield was trying to get back into that cardio
Yeah,
system.
Tracy
Um,
was good, looking good at the beginning for real, dude. I was
Second
worried for the
round, we
pick.
started getting exactly. Second round, we started getting it even, but now Blanchfield was starting to work on the wrestling and trying to, gas out Cortez, and Cortez putting up a lot of boxing and putting up a lot of, velocity in all of his strikes. That she was trying to, go ahead and volume in her strikes. That she was trying to, go deep and deep, deep. But then that third round came, that takedown came, her back was taken. At first, I looked down and I'm like, oh my God. And I was like, what? I looked back up because I saw, Wrestling Empire Roman Reigns dead. And I was like, whoa, what the hell? He died. And I look up and she's getting strangled. And I'm like, oh my God.
For real, that was a nasty ass
And
choke.
that was a nasty choke. Erin Blanchfield picks up the big win here. No bonus. No bonus for doing some
No
great stuff,
love,
but
bro. No fucking
no
love.
no love whatsoever. But what were your thoughts on Blanchfield picking up that win in the women's flyweight division, where so much is moving? And that win right there could have capitalized her a lot.
Yep, yeah, dude, that's a huge win for her. I was wondering what was gonna happen after she lost to Manon, where she had been undefeated coming into the UFC until then, and then she, faced that roadblock in Milan. Just such a good fighter in her own right. But she's bounced back to really well since, got that Rose Namajunas win, and now this Tracy Cortez win, where Tracy's been looking good herself, and the boxing's been improving. The grappling's always a problem, but Erin showed that even though she's not the most explosive in terms of her striking, when she does land, it has a decent effect. And then once she's able to get a hold of you, she's not going to be easy to get off. And once that choke was locked in, it was all she wrote, because she was not going to be letting go of that whatsoever. The way she had Tracy's neck like cranked during that choke would just look so painful. So 100% was not shocked to see Tracy tap out, because otherwise she's about to be put to sleep and no one wants to see that. So, man, shout out to Erin, man. One of my favorite women's fighters, always putting on, crazy fights, always fighting the best of the best. Only 26 years old still, and she's had, a good amount of UFC fights, lots of experience against the top of that division. Like you're saying, it's just one of the best divisions in the women's divisions, and she's one of the best prospects still, because she's only 26, so she still has so much time to improve, so much time to work on her game, and it seems like she is, because she just keeps looking better and better. Once you being able to submit Tracy Cortez like that is just super, super impressive. Able to actually finish her, because Tracy's has not been finished in the UFC until that point. So for the first one to do it is Erin Blanchfield. Is a huge feather in her cap. And, she'll probably be back in that title picture now after that win. So we'll see what happens with Valentina, who's going to be her next fight after her performance this past weekend. So, it could be her right there. She could be ready to fight Valentina finally after she's probably the most deserving, because she hasn't fought her yet. So Valentina's taken out pretty much everyone else. Let's see what Erin Blanchfield can do.
There's one name as well in that division, Natalia Silva.
Yeah, very true. And she's a little bit more of a fan-friendly style, where she
Yeah,
has some crazy ass kicks. So those two
crazy kicks and so
are
fast
her.
with striking.
Yeah.
She's on a 13 fight win streak. Erin Blanchfield right now on a 2-fight win streak. There's one fighter that almost fought, Blanchfield, but they pulled out literally minutes before. It was Macy Barber. Macy
Mm-hmm.
Barber is set to fight at UFC 323 next month against Karine Silva. So that's going to be very exciting.
Yeah, that's fun to watch.
Karine Silva did defeat Dion Barbosa recently, and she's a number 9 ranked, fighter. If she can beat Macy Barber here, she knocks herself into the top 5. But if Macy can win here, extend it to 7, we'll have a 15-2 record. Well, and it's so funny too, because she'll have a 15-2 record better than Blanchfield's, because Blanchfield's 14-2 right now.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy how they're both so equal in this. But Natalia Silva, she definitely deserves to be next in line. I believe Valentina did point at her after on Saturday night and
Yeah,
everything.
she was looking hype about it.
The next fight, I think they should honestly book next fight should be, of course, Valentina and Silva, but then afterwards, Valentina and the winner of potentially either Manon Farrow, Erin Blanchfield, or Macy Barber. One of
Yeah,
those three women
I like it.
have to be next in line for the title. And if you got to put them in a triple threat match like WWE, freaking
Okay.
put it right there. Put it right there. Let's see who escapes cage first, and let's go. But after that fight, we got ourselves a candidate for fight of the night. Didn't get it, but candidate for fight of the night.
Yeah.
Gregory Rodriguez RoboCop against Roman Kopylov. Ben Askren and Chase Hooper's long lost cousin.
Yeah, for real. The Russian one.
And the Russian. By the way, thank you so much to the 914 people watching right now. That is insane. That is insane to see right now. It's a very big Monday. Everybody's just so in tune, whether it's professional wrestling, whether it's the aftermath of New York City having this great UFC card. And New York City is still popping off because tonight's Monday Night Raw at MSG, and the tomorrow night still at the theater in MSG will be NXT. So it's just a lot of good
New York's
wrestling,
a good place to be right now.
Exactly. They're really treating this like, hell yeah, we got this, because of course Thanksgiving's coming up. There's so much vacation and so much travel that's going to be happening. So for now, people are just, enjoying themselves and enjoying the free time that they have before the world goes back to even crazier shit. But crazy shit is what Gregory Rodriguez is all about. I remember that one time we got a unibrow split open, and it looked like a
that was nasty though.
Like a gaped asshole.
And Dana's ass is like, let me post this on my fucking story. I'm like, I really want to see that, bro.
Like, oh no, bro, I don't want to fucking see that.
Bro, I'm like, oh god, bro. Always be doing
Rodriguez
that shit.
continues to get better, and it's so crazy and scary because my god, this guy, his elbows vicious, his head kicks vicious. The way that he can look tired and still get in there and land these beautiful knees to the body and try to take out Kopylov. Kopylov went from being this, like, I'm next up in line, I'm a big contender. Then he fought Paulo Costa, and now things are looking a little bit iffy for him.
Mm-hmm.
But what were your thoughts on Gregory Rodriguez picking up this big win here?
Yeah, huge win for him. We've seen him have some ups and downs. We've seen him be finished, but then he comes back and gets the finishes right back. So he's always a fan favorite. He's going to be going for the finish, or, maybe he'll get finished. In this case, despite his best effort, it did go to the decision, but I think that's more on the toughness of Roman. They both are scrapping hard, throwing bombs the entire time. I thought there was going to be a finish for sure after that first round with how hard they're throwing, but it wasn't to be this time around. But still a really, really good win for Gregory Rodriguez, RoboCop. A fan favorite, and he's always going to be in there in a fun fight, throwing bombs, and this time was no different, although this time it was just no finish. But it just goes to show that Roman is a tough outing in there, and he's was able to handle the power better than a lot of other guys, that is for sure, because we've seen a lot of guys just be put to absolute sleep in there at RoboCop. But I thought that this was a good opportunity to show that RoboCop, can go all 3 rounds pretty relatively okay. Even though he looks a little gassed, his power is still there throughout the entire fight. So, huge performance, and it always helps that we predicted him as well. So we're looking good there. I was trying to catch up, but the first fight really threw me back. Trying to play catch up here, but we had a lot of similar picks on this prelims besides that first one. But, credit to RoboCop and credit to Kopylov for hanging in there tough. But yeah, like you're saying, he's on a little bit of a downward after losing to Paulo and now this loss. It seems like maybe if he gets to step up, he's just not quite ready. We've seen him lose to Fluffy Hernandez, who's another top contender. So these top guys in that division just seem to have one up on him. So I don't know if he'll ever be able to get past that hump. He is, I believe, like in his 30s. How old is he? Let me see. So yeah, he's 34. So, it might be time he's running out for Roman Kopylov. He's actually somehow younger than freaking RoboCop, even though RoboCop looks about 50. RoboCop's only 33, so maybe he still has a title run up in his sleeve, dude. You never know, because with him, he could either knock you out or he could submit you. So it could go either way. He might be knocked out, but
so bad,
yeah, for real, bro. The pure size on him. both these guys look like fucking heavyweights in there. And I'm like, how the fuck is this at middleweight? They're both so big, and especially Robocop. He's just an absolute unit for that division. So, he's always fun to watch, and, love to see him win, especially when we pick him. So we'll always take that.
For sure. Another thing, Walter Walker should just drop down from heavyweight to middleweight and fight Hamza Chimaev. I think that would be a
Bro, we need someone to be able to wrestle these guys for real.
Exactly. But next up, fight about wrestling, but really wasn't wrestling at all. Rodolfo Vieira, who is known as the Black Belt Killer, against Bo Nickel. And from what we saw here, Bo's improved a lot.
Yeah.
Bo is definitely, getting a little bit better. And now we witnessed him. Like, it's so funny too, because I remember a few years ago he went against if I can go back and see that record, he went against Val Woodburn at UFC 290 in Vegas, and he knocked him out in 38 seconds because he just kept stepping in and doing this like crazy wild hooks and just got Val out there. Next fight, he submitted Cody Brundage, and he beat by a one-sided beating Paul Craig. People are like, all right, he can go to distance. What happens in his next fight? Run of the Ritter shut him down, and then that was this past May. Many were wondering, oh, what's going to happen next for Bo Nickel? Will he do anything good? Performance of the night bonus, knocked out Rodolfo Vieira in the most triumphant way possible, ending the featured prelims off with everybody with their hands up in the air, like, oh my god,
that shit was crazy.
Bo Nickel's got knockout power. Like, people are like, oh, but what about Val Woodburn? Val Woodburn was an up and comer.
Yeah.
Rodolfo Vieira has been fighting in the UFC. You know what I mean? Like, he's been fighting in the UFC for quite some time now. He's been fighting there since 2019. His first fight was in Oscar Piosta, where he submitted him. Then he got another submission. Then Fluffy Hernandez submitted him. He defeated Dustin Stolfus by submission, lost to Chris Curtis, submitted Cody Brundage, submitted Armin Petrosian, lost to Andre Petroski, beat Tresean Goy, and then like it's been very like 50-50, bounce back and whatnot. But the second he gets into it with Bo Nickel, people were immediately expecting, oh, Vieira could have a good shot here, or he can stuff the takedowns and whatnot. I mean, it really didn't mind him, stuffing takedowns. It was about, blocking that head. And he didn't block it in time, and he got knocked out cold, flat on his back, crazy moment. Bo Nickel takes it. What were your thoughts on Bo Nickel bouncing back with this big win?
Yeah, dude. I was definitely a little bit wondering what's going to happen after Bo Nickel's last performance, where he took his first L of his career, and then he's able to bounce back in the best way possible with that knockout, man. Not only was it an amazing knockout, it was the first time that Vieira has ever been knocked out. So for him to be able to say, I'm the first guy to knock out Vieira, who's been in there against some tough guys that have some crazy power in and of themselves, for him to be able to go in there and finish it in that fashion and not even really need the wrestling. I mean, he probably didn't want to get too tangled up with Vieira with his submission game, but that's a smart game plan from him, and he was able to use his stand-up to, work that body early on, get him worried about the body, worried about the takedowns, and then he throws a head kick. I think that was the first head kick he threw in the whole fight. Ends up being the one that knocks him out cold, dude. That was one of the nastiest knockouts we've seen. I was a little worried, but we weren't seeing him moving much for a while, and I'm like, damn, they're already showing the replay. He hasn't even moved. I'm like,
exactly.
They don't give a fuck.
These knockouts are so freaking vicious sometimes that when you see the fight, like Bo Nickel having his arm raised and you don't see his opponent, well, like, what happened?
You're like, where'd he go, bro?
Is he dead? Like, what's going on here?
For real, I thought that was going to be the case, bro. He was not moving. No movement whatsoever for a while, dude. Like, that was just a perfectly placed kick right on the side of the head, bro. No sort of block, no sort of movement, just right into it. And that's what's going to happen when you get hit in the head with that type of kick from someone like Bo, who's extremely athletic, very explosive. And, man, if he's able to round out his game where his stand-up is looking that dangerous and the fighters have to worry about the takedowns as well, then shit, he's going to be, a future possible contender. What is good, bro? Thank you for tuning in, and thank you to all of you for tuning in. We love this talking.
He put JDM and an emoji of game over. Then he put, I have a question for you, guy. And I was like, okay. And then, can you think Beneil try to move in 170 pounds? I mean, That's the next fight we're talking about. So
Yeah, I mean,
we'll
it's
get
probably a good idea because if he's missing weight and his chin seems to be a little bit affected, dude, I definitely could see him moving up to 170 before before it's the end of his career because he's gonna need a change. Otherwise,
He's got a lot of gray hair, man. I'm
yeah,
shocked he's still fighting. Like, brother, like bending the bull. Go ahead and retire, brother. You can do it. But it's
yeah.
that hunger in the fight game,
For real, bro. You
But
always think you can get one more and end up on top. That's the thing. It's like end on a swish, like in basketball. You want to end on something satisfying. You don't want to end on being knocked out in 15 seconds.
exactly,
So that's a tough
exactly.
thing about the fight game, dude. They always think, oh, the next fight I could win. I could win this next one. I don't want to go out like that. But not everyone can be like Robbie Lawler and end on a KO, like where he knocks the dude out so quick. So, it's lots of questions for Benny. We'll see what he does next, man. Because he's missing weight and he's getting knocked out. So I'm like, maybe it is time to change weight classes. But that 170 is such a tough division, man. Who's he gonna fight? Prates, Morales? It's gonna be possibly the same outcome. But one way to find out. Can never count out Benny, but I don't know. It's a tough spot.
Never. I don't wipe off my camera. But we end off the UFC 322 prelims. 7-3 myself, 7-2 myself, 6-3.
Bro,
You're tough.
We'll take it.
Very, very, very close. Very freaking close. It was so scary. The thing I was most worried about was if you look at that, win-loss record for me, I was hoping so much not to get more than 3 losses.
For real, you're like, keep it on 100.
The fact that I only got 3 losses in total is like, oh my god. Like,
For
but
real.
here's what makes me so sad. If I would have went with Ewing to win, I could have had 209 like Stockton, motherfucker.
Oh.
Like when I was on a toilet this morning and I was looking at the thing and I was like, man, I could have been like fucking flexing, like what a motherfucker, Stockton. Like
for real, but I was
nah.
talking last week saying I would beat Rami if you guys tuned in last week. I was talking that shit. I'm like, I'm going perfect undefeated card. Not so much undefeated, unfortunately. But maybe in the main card I'll bounce back. We'll see. Maybe not.
But heading into that main card, we have a couple other questions here as well. So we have here, I have a question for you guys. We have, of course, the Benil question. We also had here them say, let me go and pull that up. Who is next for Islam? We'll get to that. Michael Morales will KO Benil at face-off itself in one step. I don't know what that means, but
I mean, I agree.
Yeah.
Morales would probably do bad things to Benil. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
170 is looking stacked.
Exactly. It's just that I think the English is broken, and I'm not even saying that's a bad thing. I'm Palestinian Salvadoran. You know what I mean? Like, so I have my problems. Leon gets submitted by grappler, KO'd by striker. Who can he beat?
Not anyone lately, unfortunately, for Leon.
Here's what I want to say. I remember it got brought up like maybe a couple weeks ago or so by Jorge Masvidal. He says he wants to come back to the UFC at the White House and he wants to fight Leon. After what I just saw Leon go through, brother, go ahead.
Like,
For
real, bro.
You know what I mean? Like, but that's the thing too. If Leon fights Jorge and he knocks him out, let's say, what does that do for you? Nothing. Oh wow, you beat the former BMF champion. Wow, you beat a guy who was unranked. Wow, you beat a guy who was like smoking weed every single day. Like, you really don't.
Gets the revenge for the 3-piece in the soda. It's personal.
It's just, it really, that's all it is. It's just a personal story of I want revenge, and it's like, you will get revenge, but like, you know how it goes.
Well, like 8 years later or whatever.
Right. Like, Mike, I remember when this happened. I covered it live when that freaking 2-piece in the soda happened.
Yeah.
I remember like Darren Till got killed by Jorge Masvidal, and we were like, and Gunnar Nelson got beat by Leon Edwards that night, and I was like the fact that I can remember these things is so great because it was so awful. Like, I remember being like, because I was hoping that Darren Till would win and that we'd get that, back him back in the title picture. We didn't. Instead, we got Masvidal with this huge like redemption tour.
Yeah.
And then
started knocking everyone out.
Yeah, he beat Ben. He beat Darren. He killed everybody. And then it's a shocker that we just never got that Leon fight. Like, there were so many times where they're like, I want to fight you, and it never came to fruition. But I want to say thank you so freaking much to the over 1,000 viewers we have right now.
Huge, guys. Shout out to you guys.
Huge. This is our most views I think we've ever had in the entire show. Before we've had 600 viewers, but now we have 1,000 viewers, and it keeps stacking up. There's so much going on. And if you are subscribed to our Patreon for Bodyslam Plus, we just revealed a bunch of backstage names that are going to be at WWE Monday Night Raw tonight, featuring the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. That's a one big spoiler I'll give up. The other two are former champions in their own. One has been on the shelf for the past couple of months, and the other recently wrestled in their first match in quite some time. And I believe that a lot of people will definitely be tuned in for tonight's Monday Night Raw. There's so many people that I know that are gonna be there at Monday Night Raw, and there's so many people that I know that are buying tickets specifically for Washington D.C. on December 13th to watch John Cena's final match of his entire career. Like, my God, I might start walking right now to make it to Washington D.C. so I can be able to go and see that damn match. Like, I don't care what happens. I'm gonna be bawling my eyes out. My first ever hoodie was a John Cena Chain Gang hoodie when I was 7 years old. I got it for my birthday, and I was like, I am the coolest motherfucker here. It was too big for me, but it was like I felt like the coolest motherfucker in the world. The sleeves were too tight, or like too long and whatnot. I'm walking around like a mummy, but like that's what John Cena does for you: hustle, loyalty, respect.
I mean, even if you don't watch that much wrestling, John Cena, you know John Cena, and you know how much legend he is. You know, he's transcended wrestling itself, and you know he's just such a legend. So you know that's crazy.
I don't think
Ian Gary will beat up all bad. I mean, maybe, bro. After we saw how good Protez was, I mean, how good is Ian Gary? That's what I'm wondering. That is what I am wondering, bro. He gets hate for no reason. He's him. He's up next. For real, bro. Look what Protez did to Leon. And now look what Ian Gary did. Although, you know, Ian was crawling on his fucking all fours in the 5th round, so maybe needs to work on that cardio. But, you know, that's about it.
We'll see how everything goes this upcoming Saturday, especially. It's scary stuff. But our first fight of the main card was between Benoit Saint-Denis and Beneil Dariush, and it's over.
Yeah. And this, how quick you said that, it's already over.
It's already over. That's it. 14-second knockout. Benoit Saint-Denis, even adding on to his chaos and violence. I put him in for submission. He got into that tight clinch. One punch. That was it. And it's over. Benoit Saint-Denis at catch weight of just 2 pounds, picking up his big win here. What were your thoughts on a 14-second knockout of Benoit Saint-Denis?
Crazy ass knockout, bro. And BSD, you know, what a comeback. You know, I was a little worried for him after he lost to Moicano. And then he's bounced back amazingly since. You know, he had the Poirier loss and the Moicano loss back-to-back. And then ever since, he's been looking amazing. That Rufy win was huge for him. Rufy had all the momentum in the world, fighting nerd, coming in with all the momentum. And BSD takes that momentum, gets a finish, and then he one-ups that performance in this fight, getting an even faster finish. 16 seconds is all he needed. Those 2 pounds, like we said earlier, clearly did not help at all for Beneil. So, yeah, maybe it's time to move up to 170 for Beneil, but I don't know. Maybe it's time to consider becoming a coach. I don't know, but we'll see. I mean, it is interesting. He did a win against Moicano in his last fight, so it's not like he hasn't been able to win at all. But, man, if you're getting finished like this, which is his last 3 losses have all been by KO in the first round, you start to wonder for the chin. You start to worry for the long-term effects of getting knocked out like this many times in a row. And, you know, Benny's a great guy, so, you know, I hate to see that happen, but it's what he signed up for at the end of the day. So maybe it's time to change it up, but maybe move up to 170 and see what that goes, you know, do a little trial run up there. And then if that doesn't work out, then maybe we'll see. Maybe time to hang him up. But all credit to Saint-Denis. What a dangerous fighter in there. He's always going for the finish. Super entertaining. And he added another one to the collection of his many, many finishes. So he's definitely the God of War is an accurate nickname for him. 100% lives up to it, man. He's a scary-ass dude. So he's definitely going to be back in those title talks in no time because that was just absolutely beautiful win. For real, bro. Hey, I'm worried for the chin at this point, like I said, bro. So that's the one thing. It's like you can have all the skills in the world, but if you can't take a punch, then you might be in the wrong business. And it might be getting to that point for Beneil where you can be as technical as you need, but no one's going to have perfect defense and never get touched. So, you know, sometimes that just gets to the point where your chin cannot take it anymore, but we'll let him decide that for himself. But that's just what, from the outside, that's kind of what it's looking like. I'm not going to
lie. But so I wanted to see how those goes. But yeah, I was okay. But
and we both predicted it. We'll take it.
We both predicted that. We both got that big win there. But it's true. Benoit Saint Denis did not look like himself after losing to Dustin Poirier. After trying to wrestle fuck him so hard and trying to choke him out, instead he got put to sleep, and we were like, "Oh my God, Dustin did it."
Bro,
and then
Dustin
Renato Moicano did the same thing with those jabbing elbows and that choke. Like we were like, "Oh my God, Benoit is not going to be the same." That was the downfall of him.
Yeah.
He got even more scarier. He got even more crazier. Like ever since that loss, all he's done was add on to the wins. All he's done was make himself even more scarier.
Oh, my finish.
Kyle Pepperledge, arm triangle. Mauricio Ruffy, face crank. Benil DeRoos, KO in 14 seconds. Like, I love what I don't know if you watched the press conference last week, but they legit said, "What are your thoughts on being the new main card opener? Does that add even more exciting for you?" All Benoit said was, I don't care if I'm opening up the card or any placement on the card. I'm going there for the kill. And then they asked Benil the same question.
He wasn't kidding.
And they asked Benil the same question. And he was like, I completely agree with him. We're going to go in there and we're going to put on a big show for you guys.
Yeah. 14-second
fucking show, brother. Like, great. But our next fight was a meme fight in a way because, of course, what we saw, Protas became famous for two things. One, having his back, taken, getting punched in the face, and he's just like,
yeah. For real, he's like, this ain't doing shit.
Time. Like it was like Jim from The Office. It was like
for real, look right at the camera, make eye contact, little fourth wall break mid fight. For real,
like legit. And then Leon Edwards was showing some good signs. I want to agree with that. Leon was actually showing some pretty good signs.
Yeah, round one, I'd say Leon won, honestly, where it's like he was looking pretty decent.
I realized lately to make it to top 5, apart from skills, you need to have a very good capability to eat shots.
Yeah,
really, that's true.
Fact.
That is true. Because look at Hamza Chimaev. He's able to get these big shots taken and then go in there for the wrestling. Same thing with Bilal Muhammad. Like he's able to eat shots, but him going for this, Canelo style against,
maybe not the
JDM
best game plan
was the dumbest thing you could possibly do. And there was a reason. There was a reason why, like, Islam went for the wrestling like he did.
Yeah,
and won
smart.
The fight.
Yeah.
You listen to your coach's game plan.
Yeah.
You don't think, oh, I can step in there and I can knock this guy out.
Yeah, the Canelo hands are not working.
Yeah, Pereira, buddy. Like, calm down. Like, you might have knocked out Sean Brady. Well, speaking of, we'll get to that soon. But Protas here, he promised earlier in the week on the press conference, every fight I step into, I want to knock out my opponents, and Leon Edwards is no exception. Like he's not gonna go. I'm not gonna go in there and just give it my all. I'm gonna put him to sleep. And at first, Leon took the back. He landed those punches. He looked like he was doing pretty good for himself. And as soon as they broke apart,
then they started yapping at each other.
Exactly. Protas lands that big freaking shot and then drops him. Face. My face was like, when I saw it happen.
Bro, the way he fell, dude, was just like,
I know.
Oof.
A lot of people were trying to say, "Oh, it's fake. Look at the way that he jumped." And let me uppercut you. let me uppercut you and see your feet hit off the floor. Like if your feet lift off the floor, I'm gonna say, "Oh, fake." He didn't get knocked out.
Smash his head on the back of the canvas.
Pick him back up. Let me do it again. Like, brother, you can't do that. That's just stupid.
Like, nah. This ain't WWE. This is real fucking knockouts. Like this shit is bro.
This is a real knockout. Hey, no, here's the thing that somebody pointed out. We haven't seen Jason Herzog in 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, literally, bro. He's under his investigation, bro. Crashing out on Twitter. For real, bro. That shit is bad.
God, like what's going on here?
Herzog is cooked.
We don't get Herzog, and all of a sudden we get some finishes and like some crazy ass moments. Like
interesting.
Like, interesting. Maybe they should retract that Taliesin to sheriff finish,
Yeah, right. Exactly. Add that to your win bonus.
Give me the win.
Maybe that'd be 209 after all.
Like me holding that grudge over Brady. Like, let me get that win now. Like, come on,
bro. Fuck.
Reverse it.
Bro, that was just a crazy knockout.
It was.
Protas is length, bro.
Protas is ridiculous. Exactly. Ridiculous. his resiliency. The guy could go partying, smoking cigars, and drinking all freaking year long. He just up into the octagon like, I'm here to kill, and he's
For
faster.
real.
Like, bro, he's a faster killer. Like, it's just crazy. ASAP Rocky is like,
Oh
hell
yeah.
yeah, brother.
Fuck yeah.
But Carlos Prates picks up this big win here over the former welterweight champion Leon Edwards. Huge, massive win. When we go to the, of course, rankings, that was huge for for Prates to get. He's the number 9 ranked fighter. After tomorrow, maybe even after today, he
Yeah.
will now officially be
He'll
in the
be-
top 5.
Yeah, deservingly so,
Nope.
man.
Number 4 is Leon. Number 5 is Kamaru. Which, speaking of, they're trying to say that, oh, Kamaru should get the next shot for the title. Huh?
I don't know about that.
Are you smoking dick? Like, don't fucking tell me that shit. Like, come on now. Like, if anything, Shavkat Rakhmonov and Michael Morales, who are both on 19-fight win streaks, deserve way more. And by the way,
Mhm.
people are like, oh, but 19-0, what are they in the UFC? 6-fight win streaks, Shavkat, 7-fight win streak, Michael Morales.
For
Deserves
real.
a shot.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Go
Give
Prates
him a
in there.
shot.
For real. Ian
Give him a
Gary?
shot.
Yeah.
Like the only person I think that Kamaru Usman should fight next is Jack Della Maddalena or Sean Brady. One of those 2 fighters, he fights him. Or even Gabriel Bonfim. I put yesterday, like I put this whole tweet out that the only 2 fighters that Kamaru Usman should fight is Bonfim or Sean Brady. Those are the 2 fighters that add something for your career, add another win on. And if you get another win, get that title shot, because it's really hard in the UFC to rack up back-to-back wins in that top 10, and it's even harder to be 19-0 with a 7-fight win streak. Like, that's just in the UFC especially. Like, it's just nuts.
For
What are
real.
your thoughts on Prates' big win here to knock himself into the top 5 over
Yeah.
Leon Edwards?
Oh, the first round was a little worrying, like we said, but once that next round started, they're kind of chirping back and forth. Leon seemed like he got a little unfocused, and then Prates, with that crazy length he has with that straight left, was able to get into range, close the range so quickly, send him on his ass. He was pretty much out already. Had to get one more for the road. That was a nasty-ass follow-up shot where Leon's looking up at him, smiling like he just woke up. And then Prates is like, you're going back to sleep with this one. So absolutely brutal finish. Hate to see it to Leon happen, but it's been a tough road for Leon these last few fights. Now 3 losses in a row, 2 finishes in a row. So it's going to be interesting to see where he goes from here. I'm not too sure. I mean, he's still probably, give him another top fight, a contender fight, see if he's able to hold off the next generation. But right now, it's looking like this next generation of these 175-pounders is absolutely next level with the power, with the explosiveness, with the entertainment value. Prates, fighting nerd, likes to smoke, and knocks dudes out like this. I'm like, this dude is like a fucking movie character that you'd be
Really?
watching in a fucking action movie. Some
There's
random
Jean-Claude
dude
Van Damme out
fucking
here.
smokes, drinks, fuck it, and then he's ready to go knock dudes out with the straight left every time, bro. Or, an occasional spinning back elbow as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he's him, bro. He's definitely one of the most entertaining fighters in this division. This 170-pound division is just stacked full of contenders. I don't know if any of them will be able to take down Islam, but one way to find out.
One way to find out, and it's going to be very, especially after his back got taken, Prates, like, he's going to have to definitely work on not getting his back taken. Because Islam is way different than Leon. Leon does not wrestle. Islam wrestles like his heart depends on it.
He's a different level.
Our next fight, after Prates won that big one here, 1,200 people are watching us. Thank you so much to everybody in
Shout out to you guys, for real, bro.
Shout out all 1,200 people here. My goodness, it's freaking massive. But our next fight, another big knockout in the welterweight division. That Dana White said that this fight would secure the winner, the next person in line for the Welterweight Championship.
Valid.
Michael Morales fought Sean Brady and landed the most brutal freaking knockout possible and put him to sleep, put him down. Last time we saw Sean Brady get beat like that was against Bilal Muhammad, who knocked him out and ended the undefeated streak. Now Michael Morales is taking things over. It's so crazy how things have changed. Sean Brady was like, yeah, I just beat Leon Edwards, and it's gone. Because now it doesn't matter anymore because you just got pieced up by Michael Morales and put to sleep. My question would be like this. Instead of like, what's next for Michael Morales? We know that the title shot's next in line for him. But my question for you is, who do you think is more deserving of the title shot? Prates or Morales or Shavkat?
It's tough. Probably got to go Morales just because of the activity and the fact that Prates beat Leon Edwards, but Sean Brady also beat Leon Edwards. So the fact that Morales was able to make Brady look that easy, it's like almost a better win than the Leon win just because Brady just beat Leon. So I'd lean towards Morales, and he's undefeated in the UFC where Prates had that Ian Gary loss. But, man, it's just so much options for this division where they might eat each other up if they don't get these title shots because it is just ridiculous. Prates and Morales has more of a chance of knocking out JDM than vice versa. Ooh. I feel like they both have a decent shot, but I feel like Jack could take a punch as well, but
Jack can take a punch. If his
tough.
leg's not compromised, he can strike for 5, maybe even like more than 30 minutes in there. Like he's a beast.
Yeah, so that one's a tough one. They're both so explosive, and I feel like Prates might have a little bit more power in terms of one-punch knockout power, but Morales is just so big in there, man. He's just an absolute unit for that division. They're both huge and rangy, but, man, it's tough. I think Morales has a little bit of an edge on him in terms of reach, and I think maybe a little bit more impressive wins, but it's tough to say. They've both been just absolutely crushing it in the UFC. These two are definitely the most entertaining fighters in that division, in my opinion, where it's just going to be some crazy fucking shit every time. And this is the next level of MMA where we're getting these guys in there in the 170 who look like they could be middleweights, especially Morales. He's fucking massive. And they're able to just be this good, this technical, and this explosive where, you know, back in the day, maybe it'd be like, okay, you're explosive, but your technique isn't as good. Now these guys are rounding out the game so well. Man, it's going to be crazy to see. You know, yeah, maybe one of them faces the championship, faces the winner, Islam, and then maybe one of them faces JDM. But we'll see. We'll see. Maybe JDM's injured. I'm not 100% sure. But, yeah, 170 is probably my favorite division right now in terms of contenders, man. It's fucking stacked.
Exactly. And now, if Morales is next in line for that welterweight championship, it's going to be very exciting for Islam to get a challenge like that with someone as dangerous as he is. It's going to be a lot of wrestling.
It'll definitely be a big test in terms of the wrestling, like you said. Like, will he be able to stay up?
Exactly.
It seems impossible.
And then, exactly, because a lot of people have been facing this. Like Hamza did the Duplessis. Islam did the same exact thing to JDM. It was just like, don't have 3 names in your name, because if it's like Michael Mayhem Morales, he's screwed.
Well, that's a good point. Fuck.
Like, my goodness. But
the 3 names,
our next fight was the only loss that we had after this big streak and whatnot. And
we both got this one wrong. Fuck.
Weili Zhang was shown up and destroyed and dominated. And I say this as a big fan. I'm a big fan of hers, but my goodness, was she the smaller opponent in there, and it definitely affected. The first minute of the fight, it looked like, okay, Zhang is doing some good work, and then as soon as that body strike landed and the clinch work and then the strength that Valentina's been at flyweight for so many years already. She's on a 3-fight win streak, but it's even more wins that she has on top of everything else. Like the Grasso loss, everyone was like, oh, what's going to happen after that? She became even more dominant and more dangerous in the octagon. We have her now as the #1 women's pound-for-pound fighter, unless Natalia Silva beats her or unless Kayla Harrison beats Amanda Nunes. That's the only way that I think that Valentina can get knocked out of that #1 spot, because Nunes is such a great fighter that if you have Kayla Harrison legitimately beat her and manhandle her, you can't downgrade that whatsoever. But Natalia Silva is on a 13-fight win streak. She's 19-5. Valentina is 26-4. They're not so far off from their losses. No. And they're not so far off from the records. Like, they've both been a draw. They've both been the distance. They both have this crazy, style where it's speed and power. Like, a lot of people just have speed, they'll jab off for 12 rounds and your face will get bruised up. But when you have that power to where that speed and power are coming together and killing you, it's a dangerous world to be in.
100%.
Valentina picking up this win here. Hold on. How difficult will it be for Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like it'd be a different story if it wasn't Islam, where I'm like, it doesn't matter the height, bro. His grip strength is just built different, bro. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm pretty sure. Like, I was a little worried for the size coming in, but man, he looks like he fills out nicely. And if he stays here, he'll just get more and more accustomed to that weight.
Yeah, that's
So
that's the scary part too. He's not a welterweight. He can bulk up even more,
yeah,
and like he'll make weight. The nutritionist right there is like their best nutritionist. They've never missed weight unless tiramisu's on the table. But other than that, they're gonna go right there and kill. So
for real, bro.
it's a scary world that we live in where Islam Makhachev can legit say, I can go back down to lightweight and go and kill Ilya. Like really, if
For
people
real.
think, oh, he can't go and take him down. I
Bro, I'm
don't
like,
know,
I need to
man.
be proven different.
I
You
don't
know
know.
what I'm saying? It's
Uh,
like,
Prove me wrong.
yeah.
Prove me wrong.
Because I'm
But
almost like if you're taller, sometimes it's easier to get taken down because your center of mass is higher up. We saw Volk where he's so short, he was able to stay up better than anyone against Islam, and he was tiny. So it's interesting
exactly,
how that works out, where sometimes the little guys are harder to take down than the bigger guys.
and with
But
Volk's
it's about
background
keeping
of
them
growing,
down when it's that big.
Volk's
But
Volk's background of being 260 pounds back, a
yeah,
couple of years
for
ago,
real,
and being a
beefcake.
rugby player, and like having all this strength, and then moving it down to 155. Like for example, when CM Punk, not comparing people, but CM Punk, the superstar, went from being 210 pounds, and they're like, oh, you want to enter the UFC? All right, drop this weight, and we'll tell you what weight class you'll be. He went from being 210 pounds. He's not going to be no light heavyweight, but he went from being that much weight to 155 and being a welterweight.
Yeah,
And we're like, wow, a welterweight. He wasn't that good. He had all this height. He was skinny. He moved down to this weight class. It doesn't matter. But then you have someone as lean as, for example, Izzy Adesanya, who has this big kickboxing background. Once you have a background of like a crazy fighter style like kickboxing, taekwondo, anything. Which, by the way, fuck Ronda Rousey for saying that taekwondo is not a fucking real fighting style or that it won't work in a fight. We've had over 10 UFC
for real. I'm
champions
like
that all
Natalia
came from
Silva, literally right
that all
there.
came. We have 10 UFC fighters that all came from a background of Taekwondo that became champions. You know how many people in judo became champions? Two. Two. Like, what are you gonna tell me? More people gonna have that happen for them? No. Like
Yeah,
Kayla Harrison and Ronda Rousey are the only women really with a judo background that became successful. Other than that, judo is one of the most hardest things to learn and hardest things to conquer in MMA world because you're getting punched in the freaking mouth. Like,
hmm
come on now. But Islam will choke Ilya at 170. Ilya will K. Ah, I
I'm
have a
not mad
hard
at
time.
that. I'm not mad at that.
Okay. I can I can see that, but I can also see Ilya having Ilya having a disadvantage at both weight classes because we've seen what Islam has done to Renato Moicano, what he did to Charles Oliveira, what he did to Volkanovski at that weight class, and now at welterweight, what he's doing with a more bulked up size. I'm not
Yeah,
disrespecting that comment. I'm not saying sorry. I'm not saying that that's wrong, that we can't think that way because a lot of things have happened. Like I'm sure a lot of people were thinking, oh,
yeah,
Sean Brady's gonna kill Bilal Muhammad, and then when Bilal Muhammad knocked out Sean Brady, we were like, whoa, what the hell is that? So the fight game is crazy. The thrill and the
yeah.
agony and unpredictableness of the theater of violence is just always so great to think
For
about.
real. And it's like
But
Ilya's him, bro. Like his grappling is good too.
he re-
So I could definitely
yeah, yeah,
see that one at
yeah.
155 could be interesting.
His background's jiu-jitsu, which is crazy enough. It's a jiu-jitsu background, but he fights like he's Floyd Mayweather, the
Yeah,
boxing
for
style.
real,
Like,
bro. Ilya, those two, Islam and Ilya, man, that would be a great, great fight. I don't know if it'll happen. I think Islam's staying at 170, and I don't know if Ilya would move up. But if he did, that would be fucking crazy. He'd be probably the
mhm.
shortest fucking welterweight on the roster by far. But he's got the power of a heavyweight, it seems like. So I'm interested to see what happens with Ilya at 155 with his reign. If they keep winning, then fuck it. They might just have to fucking throw him in there because they keep beating everyone. But man, Islam's going to have his hands full at 170 with these contenders already. So he's probably not thinking of Ilya right now, but fuck, we'll see.
Love you, babe. Like,
For real,
whoever this
bro.
fella is,
That's facts.
come to a show every week. Leave all these beautiful comments. Like, my God, I love when people comment and like have their own, their own thoughts and opinions on
Yeah.
these type of things. Because there's a fight game. We're all so many different type of styles of peoples and whatnot. Like, um, I don't always go for the Dagestani fighters, but after like watching for the last couple of years how crazy and dominant they've been, I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. But Ilya, if he was able to knock out Max, Volk and
Yeah.
all these other people in his path to destruction. I'm not gonna put it past him. Oh, like, I don't think he could, rock Islam. I think if he can catch Islam with a good shot and drop him on his back, because we've seen Islam get dropped before, we've seen him get finished. So if we could see it happen again, I mean, I wouldn't put it past it. So it's just so awesome the way that we can think these things, and in the future, if it comes true, we
For real, there's one way to find out. For real, lock him in that cage. We'll see what happens. For real, dude. That's what MMA, like you said, always say, the theater of the unpredictable, bro. It's always so unpredictable. You never know what's gonna happen.
You never know.
You could have fucking Ethan Ewing come in on fucking 48 hours notice and fucking destroy Malcolm Wellmaker and just make him look silly. So you never know what the fuck's gonna happen. That's what makes it so fun.
Very briefly, I want you to talk about Valentina Shevchenko and her dominant win. We already know who's next in line for her with Silva.
Yeah.
And we already know that Zeng could be going back up to fight, of course, Mackenzie Dern. But what were your thoughts on this very dominant win for Valentina?
Yeah, the size was even more of a thing than I thought it would be. I thought that they're listed as 1 inch apart in height. That is fucking bullshit, bro. I'm like, Valentina looked fucking 3 inches taller than her for sure, bro. I'm like, what is this? It says Valentina's 5'5", Zhang is 5'4". I was thinking going in, okay, maybe the size difference won't be too bad, but dude, the size difference was massive. Once Valentina was able to get on top and control the fight, Weili was just not big enough to get out from underneath her. And Valentina is so good with the grappling as well. People think of her as, sometimes she is more of a striker, but she's really just an all-around MMA fighter where she'll do whatever is the least path of resistance. And in this case, it was just a little bit of a lay and pray, not the most entertaining in terms of knockout potential or submission potential, but she was ripping the body kicks, definitely making Zhang feel those kicks where Zhang's arms are a little too short to get her elbows down to block those ribs, and Valentina was sniping them over and over and over again. And then she started to go high up with the kicks towards the end. So there was a little bit more action than some people like to give credit for. But yeah, definitely was a very grapple-heavy fight. And Valentina showed that she was the better fighter for sure. And especially at that division where Zhang has been able to dominate everyone at 115, but 125 is a little bit of a different ballgame we've learned in this fight. We've seen Rose Namajunas try to come up from 115 to not too much success. And it seems like this is just a big jump because 115 to 125, it doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're only 120 pounds, that's actually percentage-wise a fucking huge jump. So, credit to Zhang for trying to be great, daring to be great. We both picked her. She'd been so dominant in her previous fights, but Valentina showed that she's just a different level at this division. And you're going to need to be damn near perfect to get her out of there because she's just so focused all 25 minutes, 100% locked in, looking for ways to win, looking for ways to put herself out of danger, minimize any risk whatsoever, find weaknesses. And she found it with the body kicks and then with the grappling. Absolute masterclass from Valentina. Not the most, crazy entertaining fight, but sometimes that's not every fight can be, perfectly crazy entertaining. This isn't BKFC. Fight. You're not going to see a knockout every time. This is MMA, not boxing, not kickboxing. So there's going to be, some ones that aren't the most, super crazy bloodbath, but sometimes you just see a technical masterclass, and that's what it was for Valentina. Absolutely perfect game plan.
Like, what a perfect game plan it was, really.
Yeah.
She saw the size advantage. She said, my strength is there. And she's been at flyweight for so many years. She's bulked herself up so much. She's beaten so many different types of styles of women. Like, if she was able to beat Manon Ferro, who's almost, I think, a bit taller than her.
Yeah, she's fucking huge.
Zhang Weili's power was not going to, surpass anything that Valentina's been through. But before we get into the main event and we talk about that, this week's podcast is sponsored by Shroom Boy, the protein mushroom boy that, gets you zooted. Go to www.eatshroomboy.com and use code BODYSLAM at checkout for 25% off your first order. Will it give you psychedelics? Maybe. Will it feel like acid? Probably. Will you end up like naked in a chicken coop? I don't know. But all you know is that you should go and order yourself one. If I end up losing next week's card or whatever, if Bilal ends up losing, let's say, I'll order a shroom bar and I'll eat it on
Hey,
camera.
let's go.
It's like,
Shout out
it's
to
like,
Shroom Bar.
it just cry my eyes out, fucking starts puking, like fucking
For real,
losing my
bro.
mind.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, I'm scared. But no, it's gonna be very exciting. But heading it, by the way, shout out to the 1,300 people that are watching us, 986 on Twitter of BodySlam, 366 to other services and whatnot.
For real.
Heading
Shout out
into
to you
our
guys, the goats. For real, bro. Tuning in. We
exactly.
love
Thank
talking
you.
fights. Let us know what you guys think of all these fights as well. You know, we love to hear your guys' perspective as well. And we just love chatting about fights and, you know, the potential of, you know, these future fights after these cards, because there's possibilities are endless. So many good fighters, so many good contenders, especially at 170. This shit has just been crazy.
Do you see this?
In my chair. For real, bro. That'd be a legendary matchup. That honestly is probably, depending on what happens in this next fight. I
It's
know.
so
We'll see what
exciting.
happens.
But heading into this main event, Jack Della Maddalena, it took him defeating Bilal Muhammad to finally realize his dreams, become the UFC welterweight champion. And it didn't last long because Islam Makhachev, he promised the world, if Bilal loses the championship, I will move up to welterweight and I will go and become the champion. He promised, he delivered, he conquered. He came, he saw, he conquered. You know, sold out shows, record concerts. You know, Jay-Z said it best about the Empire State of Mind, and Islam Makhachev came in there with more than just dominant, you know, concrete jungles. He just wanted to kill, and you know, in just the most dominant fashion possible. At first, it looked like Jack was like, you know, doing some, you know, good stuff in a minute and 25 seconds of the first round, and then he got taken down, and then he got taken down, and then he got taken down and suffocated anymore. It got to a point where we were just like, wow. We were just watching this beating happen. Every time that Islam got him, he compromised the leg. He, you know, secured the choke. He tried to, you know, do whatever it took, or whatever it takes to pick up the win. And in the end, after dominating by decision and then shaking hands and hugging Jack Della Maddalena, who was very visibly upset.
Yeah,
Why
bro.
wouldn't
That was bad.
you got destroyed, and even your coaches in the first round were saying, "Take that puss face off take that puss look off your face already. Go out there. All you need is one shot. Land that one good shot." He couldn't land any shots, and then he got taken down again and suffocated. 50-45, 50-45, and 50-45 on all the judges' scorecards. Unanimous decision. Islam Makhachev becomes the new UFC welterweight champion, while also never losing the UFC lightweight championship. Just the crazy world we live in, where we see people move up weight classes, either they're successful or not, or they're very dominant. Here's how I look at it. It's sad that Khabib Nurmagomedov lost his father, but if Khabib's father was still around, how scary would it have been if after the Gaethje win, they decided, you know what, let's go out there and go move up to welterweight. Let's go fight Tyron Woodley. You know, let's go fight Kamaru
that'd be
Usman.
easy work for Khabib, low key.
That like Kamaru Usman, I think would have been a challenge.
Yeah, better than Woodley.
Woodley would have got
Woodley in his prime was a beast, though. But
yeah, the way he knocked out Josh Koscheck, the way that he, you know, beat Robbie Lawler, the way that he handles Stephen Thompson and Darren Till, it was great work from him for those, you know, couple of, you know, years. And then he lost to Kamaru Usman. Kamaru dominated the scene. Leon gets a big upset. Beats Colby Covington, loses to Bilal Muhammad. Bilal Muhammad in his first defense loses to, you know, JDM, and now after one defense, like, it's so crazy how this welterweight division works. Like, it feels like there's one or two defenses, and then the next is coming in.
yeah,
let's be honest, JDM can't do that with one shot. No, it's really true. I do agree with that. Like, let me put that there. Yeah, really, it was not going to take one shot. It was going to have to take more than just a combo to be able to put Islam down, because we saw Volk have to use so much pressure and so much, you know, stand-up ability of the kicking and the you know, head strikes and the hooks to gas out Islam and to try to put him down. But then Islam learned in that second fight. Okay, this is what he's gonna try to do to me. All right, I put him through so much pressure. I put him through so much hell. I'm gonna be ready for this. I'm fresh as hell. And he came in there, and he was more than fresh as hell, because he got the big head kick knockout and put Alexander Volkanovski down and out. Like, it was a nuts atmosphere.
So,
I remember being so sad about it because I was like, wow,
so
is that
Volkan
the
short
anthem?
notice coming in, saving the
Like
card. Gets
exactly
awarded with
everything.
that.
You hear the down under song and everything
Yep.
like that. Men at work, I was like, okay, hell yeah, and then he got killed. Um, and then last time around, it was Islam like, oh, we need a short notice of opponent, and it was like Volk, and it was Renato Moicano instead, and Renato got
Yeah.
suffocated badly.
Yeah. For real, dude. Islam's
But
just no fun to be in there with, dude.
he's no fun to be in there with. He's so scary. He's so dominant. It's just a bad time to be alive whenever you're around him. Now, let me ask you this. With Islam Makhachev winning, who do you think should be next in line for the championship? Does JDM deserve a rematch? Or do you think
No.
that we should get the I love how it's like, no.
Definitely
No.
not.
No,
Like,
definitely
I
not.
don't think he wants a rematch at this point either. He was looking like he wanted no part of that towards those last few rounds. So, yeah, I mean, it'd probably be Morales at this point. I mean, Shavkat needs to actually fight. I'm worried about his knee. Is it ever going to heal? Always re-injuring it over and over and over again. So, at this point, my top three is Morales,
Like, what is he?
Prates.
Who is he? Michael Penix Jr.? Like, come on
Yeah,
now.
literally, bro. For real. Shout out to Penix, injured again.
Fifth
But for real, bro, I'm like, fuck
ending
it.
injury.
Give fucking Ian Gary a title shot. I want to see it. Even though he lost to Shavkat, at least, ended the undefeated finishing streak, as Ian likes to mention over and over again. He's like, I didn't get finished, therefore it's a win. I'm like, nah, I don't know about that. But but then Shavkat hasn't fought since, so we'll see what happens with Shavkat. But I think you got to go Morales just because Brady was going to be next up. And then Morales makes him look like easy work. So I don't know how they'll match up with the wrestling. We'll see. But yeah, it's going to be a tough outing for anyone in there with Islam, man. I picked JDM thinking that the takedown defense is going to be similar to when he fought Bilal. But yeah, it's a completely different beast when you're in there with Islam, because Islam had almost fucking over 10 minutes of control time, and Bilal had like 3. So I'm like, he almost fucking quadrupled up the control time and made JDM look like he was a fish out of water on the ground, because he just was having no fun whatsoever. They kept saying that maybe he was injured or something. I don't know. They haven't came out with that. Maybe so, but either way, dude, I think that the outcome was going to be inevitable with how good Islam was looking. I definitely think that if he keeps bulking up at 170 and gets stronger and stronger, it's just going to keep getting worse and worse for these guys. So we'll see if Morales is able to put up a better fight than JDM. I was hoping JDM for my picks was going to be able to get this crazy upset, but man, I was wrong on that one for sure. JDM did not get revenge for Volk, and it did not do it whatsoever. Ian Gary can be toughest fight for Islam. Yeah, I mean,
I
training with those dudes in Brazil, man. He's used to these dangerous grapplers, for real. So, and then Shavkat too. If he can actually get healthy, he'd be such a tough matchup, because he's just one of those guys who, no matter where it's at, he's so dominant, a finishing machine, and the only question for him is his health. So hopefully he can get back in there soon, because the welterweight division is a better place when Shavkat is active and finishing dudes and, putting on a show for everyone over and over again. So, yeah, if we just need to see him in there again. It's just been a long time, but, they might actually just say, fuck it, and throw him in there, because we need a wrestler that can do something against Islam, because JDM, we thought maybe the boxing would be able to do it, but nope. Islam completely shut it down, completely dominated, made Jack look like he was literally crying in there. I have not seen that in a while, where he's like making those faces. It was definitely an ugly sight for him, but for Islam, the legacy is just getting started. He's just such a good fighter and a funny guy, honestly. He has a much more of a personality than Khabib, I feel like, where a little more easygoing.
Khabib was more stern about everything.
Yeah.
He was so like, I have to focus. Islam has a little bit of funny to him,
Yeah.
but he's still as serious as Khabib. I wanted to briefly mention, Dana White on Islam Makhachev said this guy is heading towards the GOAT talk. Also,
Yep.
I don't know if anyone briefly remembers this. Of course, Max and I remember this. At the beginning of the main card, a brawl broke out between the Dagestani fighters and Dylan Dennis. Dylan Dennis got jumped, He got whooped on. He got knuckled over by John Pork, John
When's he
Shanko.
not getting
You
beat
know,
up on? That's my question.
John, huh?
When's he not getting beat up? That's my question.
Yeah, John Pork beat him up, had bloody knuckles with a picture of Jorge Masvidal. I thought that was like one of the sickest photos.
For real,
But
bro. Fucking
Dana White
Dylan.
says that Dylan Dennis will never be at a UFC event ever again after the brawl. He is banned for life. So
Shocker.
that's a beautiful
Real though, I'm like, he
beautiful
keeps
world.
trying to get signed. I'm like, bro, no one's gonna sign you when you're just a
No
fucking
one
jackass.
wants you. No one wants you if all you're gonna do is just be a little bitch. You know
Bro,
what I mean?
he acts
And
like
especially
he's
with
like
him,
the goat for beating some bum on Misfits. I'm like, bro, that was some random
yeah.
dude off the
With
couch.
speaking of, isn't he supposed to be fighting Anthony Taylor soon, or did that fight already happen?
I think that's happening. Yeah, I think it's gonna be MMA.
Yeah,
So that'll be
boxing,
interesting.
MMA, some sort of thing. But I also wanted to bring up another thing. Craig Jones was in the corner for Jack Della Maddalena.
Yeah,
It
I
didn't
thought that
work
would
out.
help. Did not
Yeah,
help.
Islam says he told Craig Jones at the fight that his jiu-jitsu doesn't work and that he needs to come to Dagestan for 2 to 3 years. Jones shook his hand and agreed that he will be traveling to Dagestan soon. So, I
The
mean,
rematch.
hell yeah.
Get Jack Della
Hell
back
yeah.
in there. Send him to Dagestan, maybe.
After the whole Islam stuff, like, us thinking about, like, what should happen next. There's one thing that got announced this morning that shocked the world, really. Jake Paul will enter the boxing
Yes,
ring
let's go.
against heavyweight legend Anthony Joshua.
Finally.
Like,
Fighting someone
wow.
similar size. I like it.
Similar size, like big weight class. It's gonna be huge.
For real, I fucking love it.
Like the last time we saw Anthony Joshua go against somebody who was just coming into boxing in a way was Francis Ngannou, and he put him to sleep.
Yeah.
And then now Jake Paul has already told Ngannou, "I'll put you to sleep," which is a shocker to say.
Yeah, we'll see about that one.
Can you predict JJ versus Alex?
John Jones versus Alex Pereira? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, John Jones versus Alex Pereira. John Jones. I think.
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
If he can get it down, then and I'm like, can John be knocked out? That's my question.
Yeah. If John is not injured, if he does a good 8 weeks, I mean, anytime he could just go into camp and just dominate the scene. Alex Pereira is great on the fighting, on the striking, but it's about stepping in also about doing that. Magomed Ankalaev is not going to go for what's it called, oblique kicks. He's not going to go and try to target your kneecap and try to mess up your calves or your shins and whatnot. John Jones is. John Jones is always a master of his style, look, see, do. Always keeping himself far apart, oblique kicks, elbows, 12 to 6 elbows. Once he gets you to the ground, he elbows you immediately. Like he starts trying to slice off your face. Alex Pereira could win that fight.
Yeah.
And I would, if I was a betting man, I'd say Alex wins that fight. But if my heart was my head says John, my heart says Alex because Alex is such an active fighter.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
But you cannot, in a way, count out John Jones in some ways because
I mean he hasn't really been beat, so
yeah, he could train for 8 months straight, and then we'll look at him and he'll be all bulked up and like so sizable, and we're like, oh, what's he gonna do in this fight? And then it doesn't matter if you put him against Cyril Gane, against Stipe Miocic, against Aspinall, or against Pereira. I think he would be the scariest matchup for either one of those guys. But then again, I'd also be a betting man and say knock out Alex Pereira so I can make myself millions. But that's really how I feel.
I'd probably lean Alex just because we haven't seen John in so long, and when we did see him fight, it was against Stipe, who was looking older, and even then Stipe was kind of maybe able to do a little bit of something, but yeah, it'd be a really good matchup of just will Alex be able to keep it on the stand up, or will John be able to just grapple and have his way with him, which we've seen him do to Cyril Gane, which is an impressive win where he just submitted him instantly. So he's clearly good enough for heavyweight, and the skills are still there. But I don't know. I feel like as he gets older and older and more inactive, I start to lean more towards Alex, where he's pretty old too, but he's very active, always fighting, always preparing, always training. So I'd probably lean Alex just due to that, but that'd be a crazy fucking fight. But Pereira has barely been taken down really in his last few fights, but he has been fighting a lot of wrestlers besides Magomed, where Magomed was able to get the win in the first fight, but he didn't really take him down much. But the next fight, prayer was locked in. And if it was that type of prayer, I would not want to be in the cage with him, no matter who the fuck I am, even if I'm John.
Plus, he has in his corner Glover Teixeira. He has a great training camp of great guys around him and whatnot who know the ground game, who know how dangerous his striking is. Glover's been in there with John Jones. Glover knows the effects that can take on you.
Yep, he's a dangerous dude.
And look at what Pereira did as well. Pereira sees who Glover's lost to, and he takes it upon himself to cast revenge.
For real.
Like we saw what happened to what's his my goodness, I'm blanking.
Yuri.
I'm blanking. Yuri, yes, and also Jamal Hill, was he?
Did he beat Glover? I can't remember. Yeah, he did. He did. Once, Yuri got hurt, vacated the title, and then Jamal and Glover fought. He got them both.
Alex was like, "Okay, I got my eyes on you," and killed them both at multiple times.
He's like, "Let me fucking make sure you're dead.
Let me make sure of it." Even like Yuri Prohaska is like it's a great fighter that could get another title fight after his recent events, but like this division is just so much
Alex
fun.
is just different for real.
Only as freestyle. You could also introduce judo trick.
Ron is so tricky in the clinch for real, bro.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's like it's a crazy world. It's a crazy, strategy that any of these guys can take. And just anything really can happen.
Bro, I would like to see that fight, honestly.
I would love to see that fight happen, especially for booking like these like White House fights. My God, just put George Washington out of his grave, put him against Abraham Lincoln. Like my goodness, go right ahead.
For real, fuck it.
Like I don't care. Put Charlie Kirk against Ethan Ewing. Put it back and forth.
Kirk versus Kirk.
Kirk versus Kirk, you know what I mean?
For real, bro. Fuck it, bro. Joe Biden versus Trump for the fucking main event.
Oh my goodness. But of course, we just about almost hit the 2-hour mark for this show. Thank you so much to everybody who tuned in for another edition of Talktagon with myself, Rami, and
Rami with another win. SMH, bro.
He's
cooking my ass.
Best here. I'm trying my best here, man. I'm trying my
fucking
best.
Fucking JDM. Oh, you really had to let me down. Zhang, I should have won Valentina, but it's okay. It's okay.
With my friend, my best friend told me, "Oh, I'm going with Valentina." I'm like, "Why? Zhang is so good." He's like, the last time he told me to bet on a Chinese fighter, they lost. I'm like, that's just awful to think about. And then this happened. I'm like, well, fuck. I'm like, that's fucked up, man. Like, don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. But see, that's me driving off right now. Like, get the hell out of here.
For real, bro. Someone fucking skating over outside my house.
Exactly. But like, thank you so much to everybody who tuned in. Another edition of Talktagon, episode 36, UFC 322. This weekend will be another UFC card, but it's gonna be a crazy weekend because this card's gonna be at 6 in the morning in Qatar, overseas and whatnot. For the UFC's co-main event will be Ian Machado Gary versus Bilal Muhammad. The winner of that fight could very well see themselves next in line for a title shot in the future. But then the main event is to determine really the lightweight title, contender, Arman Tsarukyan against Dan Hooker. Two very good strikers.
Well, finally seeing Arman again. About time.
Finally. We also got Volkan Oezdemir versus Alonzo Menifield, Jack Hermanson versus Mirtek Oroba, Sergey Spivak against Sharmil Gaziev, Alex Perez versus Asu Almabayev, Bogdan Grad against Luke Riley, who I believe is part of is this?
What?
Hold on. Let me see this. Holy shit. Why is this on the prelims? Kyoji Horiguchi is back.
What the fuck?
He's fighting this weekend in Qatar in a flyweight bout on the prelim card against Sergey Olombekov. I remember
what the fuck?
Kyoji Horiguchi is back. And
no announcements whatsoever, bro. The amazing marketing at the UFC.
The worst marketing for the UFC ever. My goodness, like I'm like, did I?
For real, bro. What?
Right?
For real, bro. If that was Patchy Mix, he'd be in the main card.
On March 28th this past year, it was reported that he had re-signed with the UFC. He's scheduled for his first bout. Oh yeah. Okay, so he was scheduled to fight on June 21st at UFC on ABC 8 against Tadagir. However, he withdrew from the bout for unknown reasons. No one talked about these unknown.
What the fuck?
not a single person has mentioned Kuroji Horiguchi because I would be talking my ass off
Yeah.
about how
We
great
talk about every
the
fucking card, for real,
the
bro.
only loss he's ever faced was against Demetrius Johnson in the UFC. He left the UFC because he was so dominant, and because Demetrius was champion, he was like, "I'm gonna go back to Rizin. I'm gonna go and dominate there." He dominated there, and then he comes back, and he also dominated in Bellator as well. Like, it's the fact that, like, my goodness, what the hell is going
Bro,
on
that
here?
is
Like,
lit. But good for us.
his last loss was on April 23rd, 2022 to Patchy Mix.
For
We've
real,
seen how
bro.
that thing's a turnaround for Patchy Mix. Like, he defeated Sergio Perez in Rizin in a rematch on June 9, 2024. He fought on New Year's Eve last December, where he won against Nakazimolo Zulu, and like, my goodness, like, they needed to be better. They need to be better than this. Like, but
For
yeah,
real, bro. They're
so
slacking.
but of course we have Begzat Al-Makan, who's another up and coming fighter against Alexandre Topuria.
Ooh.
Ilya will be there this weekend, and so will Paddy Pimblett, because Paddy Pimblett's teammates Shaquin Rock, I believe, and Luke Riley are set to compete this week in separate fights on the prelims for Paddy Pimblett's school and whatnot. So that's going to be very, very exciting. I cannot wait to see what happens there.
Bro, Loki is stacked fight night.
Fight morning.
Yeah, true.
This
Fight morning for us.
because it's so funny. I believe the reason why they set this up not at the Apex and for the UFC Apex was because there will be nobody in attendance. I don't know if you because do you know what this weekend is?
What is it?
Formula One in Las Vegas.
Oh shit!
F1 F1 will be there this weekend in Las Vegas, taking up the whole strip and everything else.
So, like, they're going through the Apex.
so the UFC's like, why would we have an event here when we know that F1 is gonna be here? All their attendance is gonna be here, so might as well go to Qatar and go.
Hopefully the crowd is lit. That's what I'm hoping.
Exactly. Let's go Max Verstappen. Go down Lando Norris. But
whoa.
I need this championship, picture to be tighter. Oscar Piastri's already been knocked out by so much. Like, his prime is over. 5 race prime, man.
Lewis is getting his first podium this season. He's coming. I'm still salty about Abu Dhabi 2020 or whatever the fuck. Fucking robbed. Fuck, man.
I don't know if Lewis Hamilton in his last 2 races has literally said, "I have nothing left to lose," and has crashed both times.
Bro, why would he go to Ferrari, bro? For real, it's crazy.
Like it's so beautiful to see him and Charles Leclerc, but it's like, oh my goodness,
it's cursed, bro.
Need
that podium.
Lewis needs to go to Red Bull. Him and Max need to team up.
Bro, that'd be fucking crazy.
I need it. Max and Lewis.
Come on, anyone else in the second Red Bull seat is just a complete shit. So at this point, they need anyone good.
Yuki Tsunoda ain't shit, and Liam Lawson is being blamed for everything.
Yeah, and they just fucking disappointed me bad.
Exactly.
Perez is better. Bring back Perez.
Yeah, where is Perez? Bring back Daniel Ricciardo, my guy.
Facts.
Bring back the GOAT. But thank you so much to everybody who tuned in. All 1,600 of you now. My freaking goodness! Like,
let's fucking go,
If every week we can get a viewership like this, I'll be the happiest person in the world. It really makes me happy to be able to answer questions with Max about these fights and give my own thoughts and opinions, because I'm no professional fighter. I train, but I don't do none of that, crazy stuff and everything like that. But so thankful for everybody who tunes in and everybody.
Bro, thanks for sharing your guys' thoughts.
Thank you so much, everybody. Max, where can they find you on your socials?
Follow me at Combat Convos on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. And then also at Brawl and Draw on Instagram, where I do my mixed martial arts and boxing artwork. Lots of fun over there. I am always, making a picture after each event. Gotta get one up at least. And I'm always having a fun time on there. So check it out. And and always subscribe to Bodyslam. We'll always be doing this every single week and talking the fights always afterward. And, one day you guys will see me beat Rami, but it's not going to be one day. So you guys better tune in and you'll be able to see that.
I hope it happens soon. I hope it happens soon. You know what I mean? But like other than that, I'm having so much fun every single time we come together and we see how crazy these fights can get and all these events how they transpire. This weekend's gonna be so much fun. We got 6 a.m. UFC card. We got a later on in the day F1 race in Las Vegas that I'm gonna be stressed out about both. Like both things are gonna be like making me want to kill myself. Pause. But like YouTube's like whoa,
Whoa.
Bluey. But like, um, that you can find me on my socials at Who Else But Rami. I'm setting up a bunch of new interviews coming up in the future. I cannot wait to get those announced and get those set up and everything. I also have a really big piece coming out for fans at the DDT. Ranking out a really big list that I've been working on for the past 2 3 weeks. There's so much that happened that I had to make sure that each person part of this list had a good, a good bio, a plot, synopsis, or whatever you can say about, their future wise. Thank you so much to everybody, of course, who does show support for all of us. I do my very best. Max does his very best, of course, with all our picks, with analysis and more. We will be back next week, whether it's next Monday, sorry, or next
Lovely,
Tuesday.
lovely.
Sorry. Next Monday or next Tuesday, we will be back for the UFC's visit to Qatar, where Armin Tsarukyan and Dan Hooker, new lightweight contender, Bilal Muhammad and Ian Gary,
Bro,
who's
that one
gonna,
I'm
be
hyped for,
next in
bro.
like the championship. I feel like that should have been the main event, but
That's what I
other
was
than that,
saying, bro. Low
like,
key.
I'm shocked it's not. Like it's a weird one.
The
But other than
disrespect.
that, thank you so much to everybody that tuned in. We will be back next week, and I cannot wait to see the events that unfold. I
Yep.
am, as always, Rami Afif. You can find me at Who Else But Rami on all my socials and whatnot. That's Max Combat Convos on Twitter, Brawl and Draw on Instagram. Always show support and love for him. Great stuff. Great artwork every single time. Like you
Thank you,
and
brother.
High Elf Club are my favorite follows because you two are
Bro,
like
she
always.
cooks, bro.
She's Courtney. She cooks always. Like you two are
She
always
gets the
side by
fucking
side.
fucking quantity out there. I'm like, God damn, she's working 24/7
I
on these, bro. I'm
I
like,
know.
fuck.
Like
I'm lucky if I get one a week.
I know she has great work. A major shout out to her. A lot of good people there on Instagram that do good artwork of mixed
Facts,
martial
though.
arts
I'm
and about
loving it.
combat sports in general. So I hope to see more of it and hope to see more people get out their
Double
creativity.
champ coming for Islam after that fucking performance, bro. It's coming.
Yeah, Mike. Exactly. All right. Thank you so much to everybody. We will see you next week. So long.